Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day, another week of 30 NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Square Enix's financial report. We're going to be talking about Baldur's Gate 3 has already surpassed a crap ton of sales. So we're going to talk about that as well. And then we're also going to talk about the top 10 games that sold on the Nintendo Switch as of June 30th, light stories today. We also have a bonus thing that I'm going to go off right off the top of the bat of Xbox Series X owners can effectively grab a free PlayStation 5, but there's a catch, and we're going to talk about that this morning. Good morning, Travis. Good morning, Jesse Mack. You guys like the content that we do here? We do it Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning to about noon Eastern time. We go over news stories and just have conversations. There's no side or the other. It's just me reading the stories, talking with you guys, and then giving you my opinion on what I think it is, just like you would give me your opinion on what you think it is. So that's what we do Monday through Thursday. If you like it, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, you can hit the membership button as little as $5. So let's go over the very first one, right? The very first story I want to talk about is the Xbox Series X owners can trade there at GameStop right now. You can trade in your Xbox. So if you want to jump in and ship, if you want to jump ship from Xbox to PlayStation, you're in luck. This offer will let you trade in your used Xbox Series X for a shiny new PlayStation 5. While Xbox has been slowly catching up on PlayStation in terms of exclusives, mainly with the upcoming release of Starfield with PlayStation 5, still dominates with the series like God of War, Last of Us, Marvel Spider-Man, just to name a few. So that being said, I'm sure there are many loyal Xbox fans who stuck with the Xbox Series X and regret their purchases. That's not to say that the Xbox Series X is a bad console, but it's just might not have the same pull as PlayStation 5 has in terms of games and library. So luckily, if you're living in the US, you can trade in your Xbox into GameStop right now, where you'll receive a hefty amount of cash, as well as a $50 bonus to certain customers, just short enough to buy a PlayStation 5. Now, Reddit user Metterboy conveniently shared his news as well as the math on how it can easily switch consoles, provided you're a GameStop Pro member. He says right now, GameStop US only is running a promotion where Pro members get a bonus $50 when trading in a certain console like the Series X. The current trade-in value for the Series X is in good condition is $385. So with the bonus, that's $435. A brand new PlayStation is currently $450, and you're only paying $15 out of pocket. It's actually pretty damn good if you're looking at it. So customers can also trade in their Xbox Series S for $138, bonuses included, and Xbox Series S for $242, bonus included, which isn't enough for a PlayStation 5, but not a bad price overall. So if you're looking to jump ship for upcoming PlayStation exclusives like Marvel Spider-Man 2, Silent Hill 2, Remake, and more, will definitely be an option for you guys. So if you're looking to maybe jump ship, maybe you have an Xbox and you're like, you know what? I know Stealth about a month ago said he's done with his Xbox. I don't know if he went through with the sale or not. Maybe Stealth will be here and he can hear me and answer the question. But if you're at Xbox and you're like, you know what? I'm super pissed. I don't want an Xbox anymore. Right now would be a great opportunity. Now the downside is with all the rumors and stuff happening with PlayStation 5 Pro. Obviously, it's not happening until next year. So you can get the PlayStation 5 right now for what it is. And then maybe down the line, you can trade in your PlayStation 5 for a PlayStation 5 Pro and play that game type of thing. Or you might just want to hold off and not trade yet and wait for the upgrade for the PlayStation 5. Each your own, right? If you want to get the PlayStation 5, just know that if the rumors are true that the PlayStation 5 Pro is coming out, you're now getting the tail end of the PlayStation 5 first gen, right? And then the refresh is happening sometime next year. It's almost but confirmed because of the manufacturers talking about how there's things out there that they've done for PlayStation. The dev kits have gone out for the things. So obviously it's happening. It's just not official yet from the actual company itself saying that they have PlayStation 5s, PlayStation 5 Pros. We don't know if it's a Slim or Pro, but if you're a person out there looking forward to get a PlayStation 5, I'll be honest, the Xbox One S, I might do that. I might trade in the Xbox One S. I have all my consoles. The only console I don't own anymore, actually, two consoles I don't own anymore, is the PlayStation 3 because the PlayStation 4 could play those games. And then the Xbox, the original Xbox, which is all games on Xbox could play on the Xbox 360. Hence why I got rid of that as well. That kind of redundancy. So other than that, if you're a PlayStation person or you're not a PlayStation person yet, and you're looking to get a PlayStation, this might be the best opportunity for you to go ahead. Let's read some of the chat here this morning. Morning, Travis. Morning, Jesse. What's going on, boss? Little Monster. Sarge. Behemoth. Good morning. Who am I missing? Gaming Fire. Kylo. Good morning. Good morning. Travis says, so I recently thought about what game or games I want on HD remaster. Of my answer is Infamous Trilogy. Infamous was a good game. I really like that series. It's crazy how good Baldur's Gate 3 is doing, as well as almost as people like full games that are good at launch. I think a lot of people, though, Travis, are hyped up on what the hype is happening with Baldur's Gate 3, and they're going to buy that game, and they're going to be completely and utterly disappointed, but they'll justify it by saying, well, I want to support a good dev team, right? Who's doing this? Trading Xbox for a PlayStation straight up? Almost straight up, Sarge. GameStop is. GameStop. Do they have Game Pass on PlayStation 5, Behemoth says? They do. It's called PlayStation Plus. Yeah, it's GameStop. Stealth probably show up later. Yeah, he's usually here later in the morning. So right before Starfield comes out, you can play it free with Game Pass. You're going to trade in your Xbox in for a PlayStation where Starfield doesn't exist yet. Well, I think what we've already seen, Sarge, that PlayStation's already trying to counter this, right? They've already put their systems on a $50 sale. So you could pick up a PlayStation 5 for $450 right now. I think you could pick up some bundles for $500 with the disc, like, you know, with a game. If it's Spider-Man, if it's God of War, if it's Horizon. I know Costco was selling a bundle. I'm not sure which one though. And then I know Sam's Club was just selling them straight up. But you can get a PlayStation 5 for $50 less, right? So PlayStation's trying to get rid of the old. This is what they do, right? Any company, not just PlayStation, not Sony. Any company that has new stuff in the pipeline coming down, they're gonna discount the thing because they want to get the old inventory out, right? So PlayStation's lowering the cost. We got the holidays coming up. I'm sure there'll be other sales as well. So PlayStation's lowering it $50. Now GameStop's doing the thing where you can trade it in your Xbox and then get your PlayStation. So PlayStation's making the moves, making sure people are like, hey, Starfield's coming. You can still play Starfield over on PC, but can't play these games. So get yourself a PlayStation, right? Get yourself a PlayStation. 30 didn't get a PlayStation 4 Pro, won't get a PlayStation 5 Pro. Yeah, but Travis, you got the PlayStation, right? You got the PlayStation 4, and then you got a PlayStation 5, right? So you're in that cycle type of thing. Where some people keeping up with the Joneses, right? They're going to get the next greatest thing. And then the other people that are late adopters will get the Slim or the Pro or whatever. It's very weird to me that the PlayStation 5, not pretty making exclusives new of only next-gen. EA literally lying to us about Jedi Survivor only on next-gen consoles. What a shame. Yeah, I mean, well, you see when stuff like that happens, Jesse, when stuff like that happens, they kind of did the same thing. A lot of people forget that when Sony had first announced Miles Morales, they originally said it was just next-gen console. And then they backtracked a little bit on that and then said, you know, it's coming for the PlayStation 4. They would be idiots. They would be idiots not to grab that market, right? Xbox and PlayStation alone. EA is a third-party company, right? So it's not about the first-party, type of things or exclusives. It's just Jedi Survivor was on the next-gen consoles. They probably didn't sell as much as they thought because the user base for PlayStations and Xbox Series S or X's, PlayStation 5 with the Xbox is less than 100 million units combined, right? I think it's like we have just past 40 million units for PlayStation 5, and I think Xbox is around like 28 million, right? So they're almost double. So you're talking about a 68 million, let's just say 70 million units out there of next-gen consoles that can play Survivor, and the user base is just not there. So they have to go, okay, well, we can either wait for people to buy the PlayStation 5s and the Xbox Series X's, or we can make the game for the last-gen console and then tap into that resource, right? Look at Hogwarts. Hogwarts, I think, did it correctly right now as far as we're 3 years into the cycle of this gen consoles. Okay, we're 3 years into this gen. Most people start buying the next generation within the 4th and 5th year. Hogwarts was like, let's go next gen first, sell as many as we can over there. Then they waited a couple months, released it for the older systems, which was smart, right? And we don't know the sales numbers for that. And then I think they're still doing the Switch. I don't know if it comes out in November or whatnot, but they've hit all the markets. And Jedi Survivor, saying it's on the next gen. If you have next gen, then get it on the next gen. If you don't have a next gen, now you have an opportunity to play the game just like you did for Hogwarts Legacy. So I guess I'll be waiting for a PlayStation Pro Slim to come out this year. Not this year, Sarge. 2024 is what the rumors are. I just think it's funny that Baldur's Gate 3 is getting such great reviews, like it's something unexpected. Make a game, sell a game. That's what Baldur's Gate 3 did. Yeah, and it took them 10 years, right? Wasn't this game in development for like 8 to 10 years? Monster says, the only temptation for me grabbing a PlayStation is Spidey. Still hoping that it will eventually hit Xbox. It'll never hit Xbox. Monster, you're more than you'll get it on PC before you get it on Xbox. It'll never come to Xbox. That's one thing that will never come to Xbox because it's a Sony first party title and studio. Jesse says they want more money. They want more money. Oh, I missed. Where the hell is my... Hold on one sec. I can't click on your... Because they want more money, and they only next gen, just like Hogwarts Legacy PlayStation 5 came out early on the year, and then released older gen consoles last. Right. That's exactly what I was saying. Travis says, I want as many people as possible to play Jedi Survivor is easily a Game of the Year contender. Oh, for sure. It's in contention, but I honestly don't think it'll win in no way, shape, or form. I heard Gotham Knights is getting more DLC. Thumbs up. Yeah, we read an article last week, early on in the week, Monster, that Gotham Knights got some files in the Steam DB database. They were showing that there was a Two-Face picture and also something along with Batman. So we'll see what happens along with that. Sarge says, hey, bro, do you see all the articles coming out talking shit about how good Baldur's Gate 3 is? It's saying people should stop expecting good games. Yeah, we read that. We read the article before. Here's one thing that my channel does before basically anybody else. When I see a story, we talk about that story like ASAP. Other people talk about it 3 days from now. You'll see other people write other articles on other people's articles like a week later. Like, we literally, even videos, right? Even people that make YouTube videos are in after the fact of us when they do uploads. We usually see the content and we talk about it live right here on the channel, right? And there's no bias. It's literally just reading the article and then giving my thoughts and hearing your guys' thoughts. So yeah, we already knew about that. We read about that a week and a half ago. I think we talked about the Baldur's Gate 3. You can't expect us to be like Baldur's Gate, other studios 2 weeks ago on Generation X Gaming, right? So we're way ahead of everybody else. 6 years? I read 6 years? That's not what I heard. There, I'll look it up. That's not what I heard. They were going through massive issues when they were making it. Baldur's Gate 3. Because it's 6 years for the actual thing, but it's sort of like What was the game that came out? Like, for instance, Anthem took 7 years, but Anthem didn't take 7 years. It took them 4 years to fucking figure it out, what they wanted to do with it, right? There was an article I read that said it took them 8 to 10 years, but they had problems and put it off to the side, and then when they started back up, it was 6 years. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. 75. Oh, that's not it. Development. Okay, the original Baldur's Gate game was developed by BioShock. Okay, Baldur's Gate 2, expansion pack. Black Isle Studio worked for their Black Gate 3, the Black Hound in 2003, but in Interplay faced significant financial crisis that year and shut down Black Isles, canceling the game. All right, so let me bring this up. Let me bring this up. This is obviously, it's the total development, even though this game, when they first started it up, it's been over a decade, well over a decade, when they were started this. So this is the development, and obviously take it with a grain of salt. It's from Wikipedia, so I don't know, but I do remember someone talking about it. So they canceled the first game of Baldur's Gate 3, the Black Hound. Financial crisis, the year that shut down Black Isles, canceling the game. Interplay lost the license to make D&D video games to Atari in 2008. Later, Atari released Neverwinter Nights and sequel Neverwinter Nights 2. And the Wizard Coast had to acquire ownership of Dungeons & Dragons franchise as part of the purchase of the TSR in 1997. Now, let's see. Baldur's Gate series for the time was first approached by Wizards of the Coast after the release of Divinity Original Sins around 2014. At that time, Wizards of the Coast felt that the studio was still too new to the industry to be trusted with the Baldur's Gate license. Larian then developed Original Sins 2, which then released in 2017. Pre-release materials released. The game impressed Wizards of the Coast, contacted Baldur's Gate 3, and Larian accepted. And then it's also working to wrap up the release stage of the development of Divinity Sin 2. So the owners of Baldur's Gate 3 were trying to get it made years ago. And then when Larian picked up, that's when they got it. So Baldur's Gate 3 took longer in development, but Larian Studios, when they got a hold of it, they created it in 6 years. The first time they talked about it was in E3 of 2019 as well. Spider-Man will be a horrible on 30 frames per second anyway. Well, boss, there was an article that we read that I'm pretty sure. Let me look it back up in our Discord. In submitted stories, I think it was last week it was submitted. I think it was last week it was submitted, if not the week before. Let me see if I can find it. Talking about the frame rate of Spider-Man that's coming out on the PlayStation 5, if I'm not mistaken. Let me find it. Was it 2 weeks ago? Team Fortress. Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks ago. It was a tweet from Digital Foundry talking about Spider-Man and how it was going to be 30 frames. Yeah, here it is. So this is from Digital Foundry. Spider-Man 2 4K 30 frames, and this is quality mode. Most likely performance mode will be native 1080p at 60 frames to upscale to 1440p uncapped frames. So Spider-Man is going to be running at 30 frames per second on the PlayStation 5. So don't be swinging your cowboy lasso up in the air and being like, woo, making fun of other people, because there is a 30 frames mode on Spider-Man, which you would think that wouldn't be a thing, right? That wouldn't be a thing, but it is. Let's see. You got higher chance of finding an honest game developers than getting Spider-Man on Xbox. Right. I'll still say that Gotham Knights was a good enough game and just needed more support. Absolutely, Travis. It was a good game. I think the 30 frames per second overshadowed what the game was. I think the game itself was actually a pretty good game. I kind of want to play Baldur's Gate 3. Somebody said it's like Fallout 2. Well, boss, check out some gameplay footage, right? I'm playing brand new. I've never played a Baldur's Gate series ever. I have 2 episodes up, 3 episodes. If you remember, you can already watch the 3rd episode up on our channel. I like it. It's very slow moving as far as it's very story driven. It's wonderful so far. The 4.5 hours that I put into it. I know Water didn't like it. Travis says, you can't expect it to actually put effort into making our games grindy. Oh, the face. It doesn't show the faces on the thing. I think great game. You know what I mean? Good games are. I'm okay waiting for a good game to be done. Like, if you told me ahead of time, Travis, that this game was coming out and it came out next year and it was broken, buggy, and you didn't say anything, and then all of a sudden told me a game was coming out, and then it came out and it was finished. Imagine that. Hi-Fi Rush came out, never heard of it, came out and said, here's a game, and it was finished. Right? Hogwarts Legacy. Delayed, but they delayed it, and then when it came out, it was finished. It was a good game. There are still game companies that do that. If it says anything other than 60, it's a lie. Sony themselves said it's 60. Well, then you need to wake up, because the people that... Here's the thing, right? When Digital Foundry does tests or sees things and says things, these guys have no, like, fandom of either side, right? They literally are just tech guys that break down what the games are running and what they're doing, or talk to people and tell them what is happening, okay? Once they get their hands on actual things and they're not looking at video footage, it tells you the truth. So when they tell you, they're not telling you to get, like, clicks and whatnot. They're telling you so you as the consumer can make a choice, get the information that you want, and then make a choice, right? It says anything other than 6. I already read that one. Mode, that's not, won't be 60 frames. Not that. It won't be 60 frames per second. Except it's running at 60. Just don't play it at 4K. It does nothing. Again, the thing I'm speaking of, this thing right here, is just giving you information, right? Spider-Man 2, 4K, 30 frames per second, and this is quality mode. Most likely performance mode, most likely performance mode, native 1080p, 60 frames per second to upscale at 1440 uncapped frames. Okay? They're just telling you what they think it's going to be. And that's what these guys do. Again, they're not like, Spider-Man bad. They're telling you as a consumer, hey, just so you know, that the 4K mode is going to be 30 frames per second. That's what it is. Boss like, woohoo! Yeehaw! For some reason, I just picture, like, Han Solo. Let's get out of here, kid. Monster says, everyone's happy Baldur's Gate can be played offline. That's cool to have the option. Absolutely. Absolutely. They love the fact that they can play the game. They can buy the game, right? Buy the game. No microtransactions. They can buy the game, and they can choose to play it online, offline, whenever they want. Crazy. It's like Forbes tech reviews, because those are trash as well. Well, here's the thing. There's a difference between what Forbes does, right? Forbes is basically like what I'm doing. I read something and then give you my opinion on it. And I'm pretty sure that's what Forbes says, opinion pieces. Digital Foundry, when they get their hands on the game, now they haven't had their hands on the game of Spider-Man, right? They've just seen footage of what the footage is out there, and they have, to analyze it, and they can tell you what it is. When they get their hands on it, they actually tell you what it is, and in a non-biased way. They take it from the PlayStation 4 or 5, they compare them, they tell you what the Xbox and the PlayStation 5 are, and they compare them, and the PC version, they compare them, and they make information so you, the consumer, can go, hey, they told me it was this, and this is what these guys are showing, and it's not that. So who's lying? Digital Foundry doesn't lie. They just give you the info. That's it. They give you hard-earned facts. Data and facts. This is why they're respected. They are re-releasing Gaming Fire. Gaming Fire says they are re-releasing Red Dead Redemption and Undead for Switch and PlayStation 4 finally. Are they? Is that official, Gaming Fire? Is there something that actually says that Rockstar came out and said that? Travis says, "Oh yeah, I don't think they're biased. I just think they're saying it. They are doing it for clicks. Isn't true." Again, here's the fine line, Travis. Anybody that's on the internet wants people to watch their stuff, right? Those are facts. Those are facts, right? So if I post something on Twitter or post something, sure, I want people to click on my stories. Now, the difference between clickbait and not clickbait, I mean, everyone wants to do clickbait because they want people to watch because they get paid per clicks and whatnot. One, the person that posted this is taking something that Digital Foundry said on their site, on their podcast, and they're posting on Twitter, not Digital Foundry themselves. So to say that Digital Foundry is not going for clicks, obviously, I'm going for clicks, he's going for clicks, but the information given is not said, right, to get clicks. It's out there to tell you information and then you to go, okay, more information is better, right? There's a difference between someone spewing stuff like rumors as facts and then as facts as rumors. You see what I'm saying? Sarge says, amazing. Playing a game offline, shocking. Travis says, I'm going to say something crazy, but one thing I've always respected about FromSoft is that you can do offline and online and switch between them. Do pretty easy. That's what all games should be, right? If I could play a game offline, that's a win, right? I even said it in the very beginning. The reason I was a fan of Marvel's Avengers at the very start was that I could play it online and I could play it offline, but then they fucked it up because I could play the entire multiplayer game with my 3-man NPC, crew, but then they screwed it up. Then they made it online, and then you can only play the single player and stuff. Like, you could do the hives and stuff with your NPCs. Now you can't, right? Now you're solo. But you can still play the game offline. Grim says, hope I'm not derailing, but are you going to play Remnant 2? One, you're not derailing because that's not how our conversation works here. So we bounce all over the place, Grim. But no, I'm not going to play Remnant 2. I wasn't a fan of Remnant 1, and I know Remnant 2 is a completely different, and they've made good changes to Remnant 2, but I have no interest in that type of game. I don't. If it ever comes down the line, or if it's on sale, or it comes to Game Pass down the line, I might give it a shot, but I have no interest in Remnant 2. Yeah. Remnant 2 also has no microtransactions and an offline mode. That's fantastic. That's great. That's my point. Without clicks, a site dies. Well, of course, but there's a difference between just making content and hoping people click on it, and then making something an outrageous statement to get clicks, right? Like the statement of Spider-Man 2 4K 30 frames per second and this is in quality mode is not a gotcha moment. It's just telling you that's what it is. Where if someone makes a thing going, new Xbox Series S2 coming out next year, that's stating it as a fact, not as a rumor, right? Big patch for Diablo tomorrow. Do you think Diablo's user score will recover? I deleted Diablo from my Xbox, Monster. So if that tells you anything, I know I'm not everybody, but I literally deleted it. I said, I'm good. I'm done. I uninstalled it, making room for other games because it's a big game. So I removed it, and it doesn't matter to me if they bring back and fix stuff. I will check it out 6 months from now, 8 months from now. I'll check it out sometime next year, because to me, what Diablo did, okay, there's no recovering for me. First impressions was I liked the game, right? I loved Diablo 4's story. I liked playing it. I had a fun 160 hours. But then when seasons came out, they made complete big changes, big swoops of changes, and then backtracked on it. And then made other fixes. And then made other nerfs and I'm done with that. I've done it before with other games, and I don't particularly like the loop that's in Diablo 4. So for me, they can change it however many times they want and make changes. I'm good. There's a difference to me in a game like that where mostly it's single player and you're trying to make it as grindy as hell for me, where if I Battlefield 2042, right? Where I could just log into Battlefield 2042, play a match or two, have fun, log out, and move on with my life, right? But that's a multiplayer game. So for me, they're not going to recover. I might go back and check them out later next year when they make changes, and someone's like, "Oh, they made a No Man's Sky comeback." But other than that, I'm good. Kylo Green says August 17th release date, definitely getting it on Switch. So okay, so they've made the announcement. Rockstar has made the announcement for the remaster. Let me check this out. Red Dead Redemption. 30 minutes ago. Red Dead. This is why I like doing a live show, right? This is why I like doing a live show. So Red Dead Redemption on PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch confirmed, PC gamers left hanging. So Red Dead Redemption and zombie add-on Undead Nightmares are coming to PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch on August 17th, Rockstar has announced. Rockstar's 2010 Western adventure, which only launched on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, is being ported to PlayStation 4 and Switch by the UK developer Double 11 Studios with PlayStation 5 backwards compatibility support. Now, the port is not remastered or a remake, but does include newly supported languages such as simplified traditional Chinese, Korean, Polish, Brazil, Portuguese, Russian, Latin America, and Spanish. It costs $50 on Nintendo Switch eShop and PlayStation Store, with physical versions arriving on October 13th. So there's the official thing. Rockstar Games on August 17th. The beloved Western experience, Red Dead Redemption, is an honor companion of Undead Nightmares, arrived together for the first time on Nintendo Switch and the modern PlayStation systems. I'm a little disappointed in this news. I'll be honest with you. I'll be a little disappointed in this news because I thought they were making a remastered. I thought they were making a remaster. Not a remaster. It's just an updated version, and I'm not going to pick this up, right? I'm not going to pick this up because I want the graphical fidelity of what Red Dead Redemption 2 is for Red Dead Redemption 1. So Rockstar gives no mention of PC or Xbox versions. Red Dead Redemption is already available on modern Xbox consoles via backwards compatibility with the original Xbox 360 version. However, the lack of PC version with the Rockstar has never officially released. It's sure to come as a disappointment. Now, Red Dead Redemption introduces a series of star John Marston as a journey crosses America and west of Mexico to track down the latest remaining members, notorious Vanderbilt lead gang. The events in 2018's Red Dead Redemption 2 led directly into the story and the predecessor. So Red Dead Redemption 2 on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4 also includes Undead Nightmare, and the story expansion that sees Marston fight survival for zombie hordes, which is one of the best expansions ever, in my opinion, to any game. I love the Undead Nightmare for Red Dead Redemption. So yeah, this is good news for people on PlayStation 4 if you haven't gotten it before or played it. I just a little disappointed it's not for the PlayStation 5 with the remaster, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. So all the hype and all the talk about Red Dead coming out, true, wrong system. They thought it was a remaster, not a remaster, just an update for PlayStation 4 and the Switch. The Switch is going to be pretty rough, I'll be honest with you, to play a game like that. It's going to be fun. I mean, if you know nothing but the Switch, then you're fine. See what you guys are saying. Will there be a Series S2 if a PlayStation 5 Pro is supposedly coming next year? There was an article. I'm going to we'll report it later this week for the there's supposed to be an upscale. Microsoft themselves said there wasn't supposed to be an update. Digital Foundry said, we talked about this like 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago. Digital Foundry said that Microsoft told them when they first looked at the Series S/X that there was no plans to do a mid-gen upgrade, and that the Series X was the mid-gen upgrade, but they decided to relaunch it at the exact same time as the Series S. See, that's what I think really like screwed the pooch here for Microsoft. I think if they released just the S, I think they would have had a much better, if you had the S and you're playing stuff, then you wouldn't have looked at it as a downgrade to anything, right? Because the S would be the only box. And then if like next year they decided to come out with the Series X, we would have a completely different format to look at what Microsoft is doing right now, because Microsoft made the S and X, it devalued what the S is, and it holds back everything that they're doing. So all developers are saying it's harder to produce because you're doing the X and the S. If there was no X and it was just the S, we wouldn't have these issues, right? But PlayStation would have a better system total, which they still do, but the S would be the only one they're going up against. It would be the PlayStation 5 versus the Xbox Series S. Now, for mid-gen, if they came out with the X, then people would be like, oh, it's an upgrade, and then they might have bought the upgrade. But since the time of before the S and X came out, they decided to put them both together, sell them at the exact same time, and that, to me, was a mistake, because now anyone that bought the X is like, what the fuck did I buy the X for? Because the S is holding us back. Instead of, oh, well, the stuff that was holding us back, now we could move forward with the X. But that's here nor there now. Titan C says, will it be... I already read that. Quintar says, I installed it as well. D4 is a big disappointment. But did you at least get your enjoyment, Quintar, out of the game for what you paid? You know what I mean? Like, did you at least get your money's worth, I should say? Travis says, wait, 30. What if you offer to give you a special item that gives you 20% off inevitable charging your inventory space? It doesn't matter, Travis. I'm already done playing the game, even if they give me a 20% off. But I think they're giving you the stash. I think they opened one more stash tab, which is, again, stupid. Titan says Series X2. Path of Exile is better game. Better game. Oh, better game than Diablo. Yeah. But it's also really hard to get into Path of Exile, Behemoth, right? It's not an easy game to get into. And Diablo is too easy. Let's see. Boss says, I'm still enjoying Diablo. Been 100 killing shit just trying to find the perfect roles for PvP. Well, at least you still have that carrot to go for, boss. I don't play PvP, so I'm not really looking for that. Little Creepy Monster says, yes, I agree, 30. The Diablo nerfs bruised the fan base. Right. So the main issue, Monster, I don't think was that the changes they made with like not bringing your internal character, that was like a problem. But now that's not the problem. The problem now is all the changes, the sweeping changes they've done to Diablo, and the fan base, the new fan base and the old fan base are like, what the hell are you doing? Type of thing. So they kind of ruined it. They ruined their own fan base. And again, it'll come back down to like a normal, you might have 300,000, 500,000 people playing the game, and they don't need 2 million. It's nice if you have 2 million. It's nice if you have 5 million. But they'll have that like 250,000, 300,000 fan base, and they'll be fine. You know what I mean? It's not like Diablo is falling off the earth and it's never going to happen again. Like, no one's going to play it. It's going to continuously succeed and make money. PlayStation 5/X release later to double dip, I assume. You would think, right? You would think. Kylo Green says, I'll be so pissed if they just like definitive edition of Grand Theft Auto Trilogy. Oh, I know. It's not Rockstar making it. It's not Rockstar making it. Who's making it? They said Double 11 Studios. Is that the same people that did the definitive trilogy? Is it the same group? God, I hope not. Travis says they're making a remaster as well, but not this. You think they're making a remaster of of Red Dead Redemption, Travis? You still think they're making a remake on top of the announcement they just did? Boss says, Red Dead was fun, but I hate how people attack me and I kill them and I'm an asshole. Wait. Oh, you're talking about during the PvP stuff. Isn't there a way to flag in and flag out so you're not part of PvP in Red Dead? I could have sworn there was. PlayStation 5 release is a remake. Isn't it based on rumors? So it takes longer? I mean, they've had plenty of time. We don't know how much time they've taken to work on it, Titan. So I would assume, I mean, I would love a remake of it, right? I don't like remakes, but for collection, I would like to buy the remastered if it's up to scale to what Red Dead 2 was, right? If they're still working on it, fantastic. If not, this is a disappointment that it's just this. It'll probably going to release in 2024, 2025, my guess. Gaming Fire, are you saying about the Rockstar, about Red Dead Redemption? Travis says they're doing both. If the Xbox 360 graphic, like it's saying, the Switch will run the game fine. Oh, no, I get it'll run fine. I just think it'll be rough. Like, again, if you play on a 720p television and you don't know about 1080p or 2K or 4K, you're okay playing the game on a 720p television, right? Same with the 1080, same with the 2K. If you don't know the one above it, you don't care. So if you're a Switch owner and you don't have any other gaming system, you just have a Switch, you'll be fine playing this game on the Switch because it's going to be phenomenal for you. But if you're comparing the Switch version to other versions, you're going to be like, this is a little rough. A little rough. I played LA Noire on the Switch. It was fun. I locked 30 frames per second. Didn't mind it. Red Dead Redemption is a 2010 game, so it's fine to run on the Switch. Again, I'm okay with it on the Switch. I'm just saying if you're comparing it, because since we've played 2010 Red Dead Redemption, we've played Red Dead Redemption 2. We've seen better graphics in the last 13 years. That's all. I mean, hell, I went back and played Transformers 2010 on the Xbox 360 on our stream. We're going to play more of it tonight. Looks great. Looks fine. What's going on, Super Dave? Path of Exile was kind of hard to start, and I figured it out. I don't have the time to put it in, right? I literally bought Baldur's Gate 3, and I'm enjoying that. We're taking our sweet time with that. Quintar says, yep, I got my money's worth in D4, at least. Expected more, though. I hear you. I hear you. Jesse Max says, 30, if Red Dead Redemption also comes out with an online multiplayer, that's a great way for Red Dead Redemption players who want to play old online multiplayer instead of playing Red Dead 2. I don't think they'll do it. You think they're going to make an online for Red Dead 1? I don't think they'll do it, and here's why. I don't think they want to reopen that wound where they can't charge as many microtransactions and stuff for it, because this is a port. This is not Rocksteady doing it, right? This is Double 11 doing it. So Red Dead Online still sells microtransactions and whatnot. I think they don't want people to go back online over there. They want you to play the story, but they don't want you to play online. Just my opinion. Travis says yes, both. No, it's 30. It's Grove Street Game Studios. Oh, Grove Street was the first ones that made it. Okay. Boss says, well, no, it's open world. Let's say I'm just moseying on down the corral and some dickhead gets mad and shoots at me and then blow his head off. All of a sudden, I'm telling the sheriff. Right. No, I know. We've met a couple of those people. You know what I also didn't like about this is one of the things I said about Red Dead, what they should have done when it first came out. Because I hate, same thing that happened in Sea of Thieves. So in Sea of Thieves and Red Dead Redemption, if I come across you in the game, boss, and I kill you, right? Then all of a sudden you spawn real close to me, you come back, you kill me. Then I come back and I kill you. And then you come back and you kill me. And I come back and again you kill me. It's like this never-ending battle. So if I was going off to do a mission, and then all of a sudden you came and started shooting at me, and I happened to kill you, and then you came back and I killed you again, it's more of an annoyance. Sea of Thieves is the same thing. Two ships coming at each other, and when it first came out, and I would kill you, you would sink, you would spawn at an island, and you would come directly back at me to fight me again, right? And I was like, this is so stupid. In a world, I know it's a video game, but in Red Dead and Sea of Thieves, I felt that if I killed you, you were dead, and then you got sent to a different server. That way, it wasn't this same back and forth all the time going at each other, because all of a sudden, something that should have taken like 30 seconds is now 45-minute escapade on going back after the same person over and over and over. And I hated that. I hated that. LA Noire is fantastic. Replay about a year ago. And man, what a great game. I wish there was... my biggest problem with LA Noire was the car system. Like, when you drove around, I was like, how did they make this game like this when they made the cars feel so good in Grand Theft Auto? It felt very arcadey for the cars in LA Noire. No remaster has multiplayer. COD 4 is a rare case. Upscale Gentleman says, I'm playing Generation Zero. We tried it. Did we play it on stream? I don't think we played it on stream. I played it off stream. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was good. I thought it was better than Redfall. I'll be honest with you. I thought it was better than Redfall, and it came out like 3-4 years ago. I think it's a better Redfall than Redfall. I got a little bored because of the lulls that were happening inside the game, but I thought it was interesting. Farmer says, I don't really like I got my money's worth from D4. I played through the campaign and didn't really understand what I should do after. I don't really feel like I got my money's worth. So are you, right now, Farmer, are you just kind of like bored? Are you bored with Diablo? You have no effort like to go past after the campaign, like what to do? I mean, you can go to try to kill Lilith. Lilith at the end game at level 100. You can strive for that if you want. Other than that, there's really nothing to do. And that's a major problem, right? Sure, you have all these little events to do and the world bosses to do, but from end of campaign to killing Uber Lilith, Echo Lilith, there's basically nothing. It's just grind till you get to 100 and then try to beat her. I would do research, boss. I would do research. Do a lot of research before you buy it, because I think what will happen. What happened with, obviously you're not Water. Water bought it. He was hyped about it and bought it. Was like, yeah, this is not for me. Kylo says, I think it's due to driving being an afterthought. Most of the time, it was just having the partner drive. But yeah, driving was bad. But the main focus was the story. Oh yeah, the story was fantastic. The story was fantastic. I just thought as a Rockstar game, right? There's like this, when Rockstar makes a game, you would think that the driving, because they nail the driving, right? The feel of the cars in all their Grand Theft Auto games felt so good. Felt so good. Boss says, isn't it 4 players or something? Yeah, so I haven't played it yet, but in Baldur's Gate 3, you can play online with 3 other people, so 4 total. You can start a campaign, boss, on your game, and then let's say I start a campaign on mine, so you could jump into my game and go through the story, and then you can jump into your game and do the story. I don't believe, though, correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't played it myself, so if you guys that are playing Baldur's Gate, I don't know if El Weezy's here. He loves the game. He knows a lot about it. If I make a character in my game, can I bring that character? Like, can I bring my character sheet over to your game? I don't know if that's the case. Because if I'm a level, let's say, 10, and then you just start the game, I don't know if I can bring my level 10 Barbarian into your game. I'm not sure how that works. People hate the GTA 4 driving, but it's my favorite of all of them. I think all of them are really good with the weight and stuff. Farmer says, not bored. Not bored. The end game is non-existent. What's the pull to beat Uber Lilith after campaign? Nothing matters. No, I agree with you. I'm saying it because there's people that have drive, right? That want to build their build as big as possible to make it as powerful as possible, so they could like try to see what the numbers they can do against Lilith, right? All right, let's go on to the financials real fast for. Let me see if this is it. Net sales, do the final. Financial quarters. Change. This is all. You know what? We're going to change this because lots of numbers, and you guys will get bored real fast with this. I'm trying to find if they have any kind of data here. Playing various interactive. Opening titles, month indication. No. Breakdown of digital entertainment sales. Billions in yen. Japan, America. Units sold disc plus downloads. Let me see if I can find an article on Square Enix's financial type stuff, like an article written, because otherwise going through their spreadsheets is just going to be an absolute just bore. Square Enix financial. I don't want that. I want an article. Here's post worst drop in 3 years of profit. That's Game World Observer. Is there another one? Business Week, Wall Street Journal. Do I need a membership for Wall Street Journal? All right. This will do. All right. Square Enix shares post worse drop in 3 years of profit decline and below expected game sales. It's what a surprise that they signed a deal with Microsoft to get Final Fantasy 14 on their console now, right? So Square Enix has shared release of the report of the financial quarter and ended of June 30th. Analysts were unhappy with the 79% drop in operating profit and lower than expected game sales. According to Square Enix's latest financial report, in net sales reached a $85.66 billion, which is $601 million in quarter one, ended on June 30th, up 14.4% year over year. Now, digital entertainment, a video game division, accounted for most of the company's revenue at 62.3 billion yen, which is 438 million, up 16.4 year over year. Now, net sales of HD games amounted to 28.9 billion yen, which is 203 million, up 133% from the same period last year. Now, followed by mobile browser titles, 157 million, down 18.3%, and MMO 78 million, down 22%. That right there, this number right here, 78 million, down 22%, is the one reason I will tell you why Xbox got signed for Square Enix. Now, the growth in the HD games sub-segment was driven by Final Fantasy 14 and Final Fantasy Pixel Remastered mobile titles. Decline was due to weak performance of existing games. The operating income was 3 billion yen and 21.7 million, down 78.5% from the same period last year. Digital entertainment operating profit was down 80.6% year over year, 2.74 billion yen, which is 19 million. And during the quarter of Square Enix sold 7.54 million units of its games compared to 4.28 million in the same period last year. What caused Square Enix shares to decline? On August 4th, Square Enix stock closed at 6,366 per share. However, the Monday, the price dropped to 5,561, showing a 15% decline at one point. According to Bloomberg, it's the worst intraday of drop in almost 3 years of Square Enix, and the company's shares are currently at their lowest price since May of 2022. The 79% drop as operating profit was also a major factor on the par with decline in mobile revenue. On top of that, analysts note that some of these sub-segments of the digital entertainment division were lower than expected. Bloomberg also reported the Square Enix president Takashi told investors during an earnings call that launch sales of Final Fantasy XIV did not meet the high-end company's expectations. Final Fantasy 16. That's 16. Final Fantasy 16 sold over 3 million in the first 6 days at launch. Although Square Enix called the results extremely strong, the main limiting factor was the PlayStation 5 install base, which again, I said was a problem. It's actually phenomenal that they sold 3.3 out of a 40 million thing, but overall they wanted more sales. Well, it's really hard to do that when you only have 40 million units out there. And when they were selling theirs, I think it was like 37 or 38 million units out there, which is 2 million less. So think about that, right? They sold 3.3 million units for Final Fantasy. And yet, since they came out, there was an additional 2 million, I think it was 1.5 or 2 million PlayStations sold to make it over 40 million. But the user install base is just so low compared to what they wanted. So the company plans to take steps to boost sales as more people use the PlayStation 5. So there you go. So Square Enix struggling as a company. Now let's have a conversation, right? Because they're struggling as a company, do they get picked up? Do they get asked to get bought by one company or the other? A part of me says yes, but a part of me also says no, because they just got out of an exclusive deal with not to say they're not going to have more exclusive deals with PlayStation or Sony with other Final Fantasy games. We just know that other Final Fantasy games are finally coming to Xbox. Final Fantasy fans for decades know that if you want to play a Final Fantasy game, you're playing on a PlayStation. Okay. A lot of the problems are right now the mix between PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. As a developer, do you make a game just for the PlayStation 5 and then wait for the next couple years to come out? So let's say year 7 of the PlayStation, there'll be more sales for the next Final Fantasy 17, let's say, because the user base, the install base of PlayStations will be higher. So if you're only on PlayStation, Final Fantasy 17 comes out and there's now 80 million units or 100 million units of PlayStation 5s, is that enough to float your company? Or do you do the user base of PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, or PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series SX/PC? These are things that Square Enix has to decide what they want to do, and they're making a bad choice. And this is why, not surprisingly, right? Not surprisingly, that they signed a deal with Xbox, even though it's not going to change the scale of what's happening with Final Fantasy. That's a user base that could 100% make more money. Now, I talked about Final Fantasy 14 coming to Game Pass last week, and a lot of you were like, there's no way it's coming to Game Pass. After reading this article and how much money they've lost, I'm almost certain now that Final Fantasy 14 will come to Game Pass without the charge, without the monthly fee, because the monthly fee to pay monthly, to buy the game and then pay the monthly fee, is the barrier to stop people from playing that game. Square Enix wants to make the residuals, right? So if they put it on Game Pass, they'll give you the game for free, but then they're going to get the DLCs, and they're definitely going to get the microtransactions from people to play the game once they realize they like the game. I mean, you could literally buy or play the game for free, or at least you could on PlayStation 4. So there's no doubt in my mind that this is definitely going to make a come to Game Pass in the future, right? They want that bigger player base that might spend $2, $5, $10, than rather get the small percentage of people to come and go, yeah, I'll buy the game and pay you a monthly fee, right? Final Fantasy 14 should also be on PlayStation Premium too. That's not the business model they want over there, though, Titan. But I agree with you 100%, right? I mean, in the case of Final Fantasy, they don't want, or I'm sorry, Call of Duty, when PlayStation was talking about we don't want it on Game Pass because it diminishes what we're doing over on PlayStation, they might have to do this if they want to keep Final Fantasy, right? In the big picture, if they can get the game onto PlayStation, just the base game, on the PlayStation Plus, that's a smart decision. I think PlayStation should do that for the MMO, because they would make more money off the microtransactions with the split that they do with Square Enix and whatnot. You can play it free up to level 60 on PC as well. So there you go, right? So if you can play the beginning, there's 100% they're going to be going on onto Game Pass, and they should go on PlayStation Plus. They should. Let's see. Monster says, I'm enjoying the Crew 2 right now. Looking forward to Crew Wreckfest this September. I didn't know that was even coming out. I think I remember it, but then I forgot about it. Farmer says, I'm not sure I can be bothered to learn the stat system in Diablo 4. The RNG is piled so high. I don't understand how anyone could hope get items they're hoping for. Yeah, it's just like I said, I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I deleted it, and I might come back, but I don't know. Little Monster says, did Phil Spencer do a deal with Final Fantasy bosses? I'm not sure who he did it. I'm pretty sure it was with Square Enix Final Fantasy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Final Fantasy specifically, not Square Enix. Final Fantasy 14 should also be on PlayStation Plus. We already read that. And Brain said that you could play it on the PC as well. Yeah, it would be, especially for an MMO. I've talked about this on GXG. I talked about this last week. I think MMOs, I think that Game Pass is going to take World of Warcraft once the deal goes through. I think they're going to put that on Game Pass as well. I think they do the same thing as ESO. Right? Elder Scrolls Online is free to play on Game Pass. Right? Obviously, you're paying for Game Pass. You don't have to buy the bundle or the stash to keep going. You can play that game 100% free. They charge for all the DLCs. They charge for cosmetics. And they give you that first game for free. This is smart. This is good business for them. That game is extremely popular, even though it's not popular with a lot of players because they're like, I don't like the combat or whatnot. They're making buku bucks off of that game, right? And they're gonna make buku bucks off of any other MMO game that comes out there as well. MMOs are hard because you gotta put a lot of time into it. Kylo Green says, I'm so bored. I'm playing Madden. Oh, Jesus. Because I'm jonesing for some football. Did you see that new football game that's coming out? It's like a NFL Blitz type of thing. I forget what it's called. WoW on Xbox? I believe so. It's my prediction, Titan. I think they've been working on a controller-based system, which you can play a controller with WoW now, right? And it was the Microsoft team that worked with them to get it to work on the console or for controller. And I think once Activision buys it, I said this on the podcast with Lono, I do believe there's going to be a tier in the Ultimate tier that you can play all the Activision games on Ultimate, meaning you can play it on the console or you can play it on PC. I truly believe World of Warcraft within 2 years will be on Game Pass. Farmer says, I know you left Destiny 2, but now, how have you not mentioned the complete dumpster fire that is raging in the community? Because I don't follow them. That's the thing, Farmer. When I don't give a shit about something, I don't follow it. The reason I talk about Star Wars is because I still love Star Wars. And even though it's a dumpster fire, I love Star Wars. I don't love Destiny. I said it from the very beginning of Destiny 1. I say this all the time. If Destiny was the exact same format as Destiny, but you put Transformers, Marvel, or Star Wars in the exact same game, I would give way more shit about a Destiny-type Star Wars game, a Destiny-type Transformers game, a Destiny-type Marvel game, which I proved my point. Because when Marvel's Avengers came out, it was like a Destiny type of format type of thing. They copied a lot from Destiny. And I enjoyed that much, much more than Destiny. Even though the shooting and stuff was fantastic in Destiny. Destiny 1 I absolutely love. I don't regret playing Destiny 1. Destiny 2, I saw the writing on the wall from the very start. And that's when I was like, I'm done. The dumpster fire has always been there. People just didn't want to see it. Now, everyone's seen it. It's like Bungie was wearing the cloak of invisibility. And now everyone drank a potion and can see them in the room going, wait a minute, is that Bungie underneath that? Right? That's what's happening with Bungie right now, and I don't give a shit. Tony says, man, I'm back on Skyrim again. Just waiting for the Field of Stars. Tony, Skyrim is that one game. I haven't played it in like 4 years, but I remember when I first got this computer, it came with Skyrim. And I was just like, man, it looks so good on the PC, right? Like it came because I played on the 360, then I got it for the one, then I got it again. It's like, how many times did we buy it over and over? I think I have it. I think I have it for the, hold on, let me see. I have it for, where are you? Yeah, I got it for the 360. Yeah, right here. You can see I have it for the Xbox One, and I have it for the 360. Right? Oh, I'm sorry. That's Elder Scrolls Online. This is Skyrim for the 360, and I do own it again on the one, and then I do own it on PC as well. Right? Kyle's like, I bought it 6 times. It's because you're hyped. And this is what I talk about in the past about games that like cross promote, right? Even though you're playing Skyrim, Skyrim is the advertisement for you to play Starfield, right? Kylo says, I see Rockstar release a trailer not even an hour ago. It's got over 1 million views on Twitter alone. Imagine what GTA 6 will do. They even need to pay for marketing? They don't, Kylo. They don't. Aren't you the one that says they could literally change their logo? Didn't you say that, Kylo? They could change their logo on Twitter and people would lose their mind. Come on, Kuda Papa. Kuda Papa says, I'm like 9 buys of Skyrim. Tony says, dude, I have a physical disc, and I also got the digital special edition upgrade, an anniversary edition, and I had the 360 one. Yeah, I like physical stuff. Brain says, I went to back-to-back lists, trying to beat friends' scores, times on missions. For Skyrim, Brain? I didn't even know that was a thing. Or are you talking about Grand Theft Auto? You're talking about Grand Theft Auto, right? That binder, though? These are the games I used to play all the time, right? I have literally hundreds of games on my bookshelf back there. These are the games that I played all the time, so I kept close by, right? I kept close by. This is that list on Xbox where you go to My Games and you have your pin board. This is my pin board, right? This is my pin board. You ever see Distant Worlds? I can't remember if I asked, but they play Final Fantasy music. It's amazing. Got tickets to see. No, I've never seen it. Never seen it. Travis says Rockstar could slap all you across the face and push you off the curb, and you'd be like, yes, more, please. Yeah, it's like people like dominatrix stuff, What a good deal. Farmer says, you're absolutely correct. All the terrible things Bungie has done to the community in the past 10 years, blowing up in their faces in real time. Not sure what the fallout will be out. You know what? Look at the comment above. Look at the comment above that Travis just said. Okay? Take Rockstar out of there. Now insert Bungie, right? So let me click on his thing. Bungie could slap all you across the face, push you off a curb, and you would still be like, more, please. That's exactly the same thing for Rockstar as for Bungie. The community is so entrenched and so in love with beautiful Destiny. Hence why my analogy back when I first started my podcast in 2015, I said stripper ex-girlfriend Destiny, right? That analogy, if you understand that, if you've ever been to a strip club, if you ever met a stripper, okay, this is not demeaning in any way, shape, or form. You're going to meet a beautiful, beautiful woman, okay? Or man, whatever you want, okay? In my analogy, it's a woman, okay? You're going to meet this hot ex-stripper girlfriend, or actually, she's a stripper. She's your ex now, okay? And she's so hot. She's so hot that you can't get her out of your head, okay? You want her every second of the day. She's so beautiful. You're infatuated with her, but she's got major, major flaws, right? Underneath the surface of the skin, she's so gorgeous, so perfect in every single way. Visually, your brain just can't handle it. And yet, she's got daddy issues. She's got ex-boyfriend issues. You want to give her everything in the world. You want to enjoy everything that she has, but yet she makes you fucking crazy, right? Hence why it's Destiny, stripper ex-girlfriend. Don't name your kid Destiny. That's exactly right. Okay. One of my rules, Titan, was as a father, if I had a daughter, your goal is to keep her off the stripper pole. I mean, most strippers have issues. No, not most strippers, Travis. All. All strippers have problems. But then again, all humans have problems as well. Oh, no, in Blacklist. Gotcha. Gotcha, brain. Don't date us, 30. We'll never like Bungie. So glad I never got into Halo or Destiny. Look, they make really good single player games. The downfall of Destiny from the very beginning was that they never wanted to separate PvP and PvE. And then when they started taking stuff away, I was like, nope, I'm done. Bungie's State of the Game article was Deal With It 2.0. Didn't read it. Don't care about it, Crowded. I know glimpses of it. Lono kind of described it to me in the after show for members. He was talking to me about it because I didn't know what was going on. Sarge says it's been 9 years. Doesn't care now. They have your 9 years of money. Absolutely. The community is now bailing. They see that 3 of the 4 engines are spewing BS smoke. Well, I'll be honest, Okuda. I think it's all forgotten. I think soon as the final DLC comes out for Destiny 2, everyone will be like, "Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so good. It's amazing." They're gonna forget. They're gonna forget. And she can't stop stealing from you. He said most, including not the ones he watches. I always raised never say all or none because you don't know all or none. Sure. I would like you, Travis, to, if you cared, go interview some strippers. Now, in my other life, before I was married and I was a young teenager, I've been going to strip clubs since I was like 16 years old. Okay. And I went until I was like 23, 24. Okay. Believe me, I know a lot of strippers or knew a lot of strippers. And yes, it's very generalistic to say that all or none, but I talk to a lot of strippers. And I'm from Florida, and we have some of the best strip clubs, or had some of the best strip clubs when I was younger. So I do know a lot of strippers, and all of them, and I mean all of them, had problems. GTA 5 has strippers named Destiny. It's a full circle now. Meta. It's a meta. Did Lono post a vid of you guys talking about the Bungie article? No, because it was at the Aftermath show. I don't think it wasn't even talking about the article. People brought it up in chat, and I said I don't know what's happening with Bungie, and then he was just saying this is what happened. No, Farmer, you're not hijacking anything. This is how the conversation works on my channel, right? You are part of the conversation, right? You are part of the community. If you want to bring up something and talk about something, this is what we do. This is what my morning shows are. This is why it's hard to describe what I do, right? People are like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I'm like, "Well, we shoot the shit, right? We basically have a conversation of news stories and whatnot. And we go back and forth." Yeah, they need your money. I'm 27. I've never stepped a foot into the strip club. Am I doing life wrong? No, Kylo. Destiny would have been way better to be more like Borderlands, single player with co-op. I can see that, Quintar. Here's a bad part. Destiny would have been better if it was like the playstyle like Division or the playstyle of like Marvel's Avengers, right? They linked, and what I mean by that is Destiny or Division still has PvP, right? So the weapons are still connected, but there's like different builds for that. There was no PvP inside of Marvel's Avengers. I think if Destiny didn't have the PvP connected, it would have been a much better game. Much better game. Because you could have, people that wanted to play PvP would go into the game, and let's say there was PvP numbers, like actual guns. You could just get those guns and then keep them in, and they wouldn't have to balance them. They refused to balance the guns. Like, they could have just made a line, right? So all the perks that you had for the gun for PvE would be over here. And then there would be different perks for PvP. But that's not how it worked. They were like, here's the gun, here's the perks. This perk was broke. They nerf it, destroy what you're doing, wreck your build. It was just, I hated it. I hated every second of it. Destiny 1, I could deal with PvP. Destiny 2, they completely and utterly just screwed it up. Destiny would have been better if it wasn't an MMO, period. But it wasn't an MMO. It was an MMO light. It had MMO-like stuff, but it wasn't an MMO. Then they said it was an MMO when they switched it over to Destiny 2 the way they were doing it. Me and Sarge talked about every day, every week, from episode 1 to like episode like 170 or 80. We always talked about Destiny. You could hear rants and rants and rants about us. Kudapapa says, Destiny would be better if we didn't have idiotic CM and woke devs working on the company who care more about social issues than making a damn game. True. But, you know, each their own, right? If the company wants to do it, they have every right to do it. Just as a business, you just kind of don't want to split your player base. You know what I mean? Destiny is a way. It's because of the business model, releasing expansions yearly. And Travis says, is it online only? Then it's a bad question. Yeah, we've had this conversation, Travis. I don't want just online. I don't want just online. You know what I mean? Online to me is bad. Let's go to the next story. We can still have conversations and stuff. We're going to go over the next story. The next story is Crazy Uncle Nintendo, right? Crazy Uncle Nintendo. Nintendo updates their sales charts with the top 10 best-selling Switch games as of June 30th of 2023. Now, Super Mario Odyssey has beaten Pokemon Sword and Shield once again. Look at these numbers. Look at these numbers. This is why Nintendo doesn't have to do anything that that Sony or Microsoft do. Right? These are Call of Duty numbers. These are Call of Duty numbers for 10 of their games. I would actually say 7 of their games. 7 of the 10 games are Call of Duty type numbers. This is why I say that Nintendo can do what they want, right? They have like 122 or 130 million units sold for Nintendo. You look at Mario Kart Deluxe, right? Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. 55.46 million units total sales at the number 1 spot. Animal Crossing, 42.79 million. Think about this, right? They have 122 million. They just passed PlayStation 4, right? So that's like 127. Let's just say they have the exact same 122 million as a PlayStation, right? Final Fantasy out of 40 million has 3.3. Super Mario or Mario Kart has 55, almost 56 million out of 122 million. That is a phenomenal percentage, right? And it's not just with one game. You got Animal Crossing, you got Super Smash Brothers, you got Zelda Breath of the Wild, you got Mario Odyssey, you got Pokemon Sword and Shield, right? You got Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, you got Super Mario Party, you got Zelda, the new Zelda that just came out. It's got 18.51, which will probably surpass the other one after time, right? Because people wait to buy stuff when they go on sale, whatnot. And a lot of stuff doesn't go on sale for Nintendo. And then you got Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe at 16.17, right? How many Mario games are on this list? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of the top 10 games are from one IP of Mario. right? The other, okay, 2 spots are Zelda, which is the 4th and 9th spot, and then the other ones are Pokemon. And the only other outsider here is Animal Crossing. This is insane numbers, right? This is insane amount of numbers that are going on here. Every game I've played that's online only, Travis says, other than DC Universe Online, could have an offline mode, and that includes Division 2. Absolutely. Absolutely. Nintendo's uncle that just doesn't give a fuck, and we call him crazy. This is the next mayor, and we like to, but we always love you. Yeah, Crazy Uncle Nintendo is fun to have at parties, right? Crazy Uncle Nintendo is fun to have at parties. Like, everyone goes left, and Nintendo's like, I'm going right. See you guys later. This is why I think, and I said last week, when we talked about the next Switch coming out, and Lono pushed back a little bit, saying that these are what the rumors are, that it's going to be underpowered. I said they're going to have a set-top box that the thing comes out of, right? It's sort of like the connected dot, where if you hook it up, it plays on like a Xbox. So this is me, my opinion, based on nothing but my opinion, okay? I don't know the stats that are coming out, the rumors of people saw stuff. I think it's going to be just as powerful or just under the same power as the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox One or the Xbox Series S and X, right? Whatever it is. And I think they don't try to beat them. I think they just bring it up to or just under the bar, right? But think about this. Nintendo doing that compared to what, like, they don't need to surpass, right? Look at the numbers. They don't need to surpass the graphic fidelity of the Xbox or the Sony PlayStation, right? They just need to kind of bring it up to maybe 60 frames, right? So when it's in the box, it does like 4K, 2K, whatever it is. You take it out of the thing, and it's a handheld device. You know, it's a better machine than the Switch is, but it's more powerful when you put it into the dock, right? What this does, it sells more accessories for them. It sells more stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's not just the little dock anymore. It's like a powerful dock where it does just a higher tier thing. I even said to Sarge, said, what about if you could take your portable device instead of bringing the station with you, and on the back of the Switch, you can like set it up and it projects on the wall or something like that, right? That would be a cool feature to have. Maybe people won't use it, but you're not squinting your eyes on the small little screen anymore. Now it projects on the actual thing. Who knows, right? I think Nintendo doesn't surpass, fidelity-wise or anything, but comes pretty damn close to what we're seeing now, but it's now from Nintendo, right? And if that happens, Microsoft and Sony should be scared, because now Nintendo's like, yeah, we're coming up to par, and we're still below you, but yet we're still outselling you, and now we're going to outsell you even more with consoles and with 10 of their games, right? First-party titles. These are all first-party titles, by the way, for Nintendo. This is not third-party, right? Call of Duty sells, this many for PlayStation. This is first-party titles for Nintendo. Travis says there's nothing wrong with a sympathetic villain, but you need to build up both the damn and then sucks, but we still hate him. Look at Insomniac's Doc Ock. I was like, I feel bad, but we're still punching. Nintendo and Xbox have quite good business relationships. Sure, yeah. But think about this, Monster. Phil Spencer said the next Call of Duty is going to be on Nintendo. I would assume the next Nintendo is going to be powerful enough to run a Call of Duty game, right? Not a downscale version of Call of Duty, a Call of Duty game. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Travis says, well, it also helps that the countless decades we had the best exclusives like Metroid, Mario, Zelda, Pokemon. Yep. And then Travis, this is why I say, when you're born, they hand you a Nintendo, right? They're like, here you go. Welcome to society. Here's your let me get your fingerprints, your footprint, and here's your Nintendo Switch. It'll be easy for Nintendo to do with new hardware. PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X/S has 3-year-old hardware. Sure, but that's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying, Quintar? They don't need to surpass them. They just need to bring their Switch and just bring it like right here. They don't need to surpass them in the 3-year-old hardware. Nintendo's like, yeah, we'll use 3-year-old hardware, but now the 3-year-old hardware is ancient, but it brings Nintendo up dramatically in the overall specs of what Nintendo Switch did compared to what the next Nintendo system is going to do. Again, just my opinion. We'll see. We'll see if we get one of these or if I'm wrong. Right, you can sell the Switch without the expensive dock, right? So like you buy the system with the Switch, let's say it's like 400, 500. But if you buy just the Switch, then it's the $300 version type of thing. Why doesn't Hollywood get the villains can be sympathetic, but you still have to have and make us hate them? I just watched, Travis, the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, right? I thought it was entertaining. I liked it. It was good. I have a couple problems, though. I have a couple problems of how they wrote Splinter's character and the villain in the film. They kind of changed the origin story yet again. They do that in every single Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like the one with Megan Fox is like she owned the turtles, and I was like, what the fuck is this? This one, they kind of wrote Splinter as a father figure and not the... He's always been the father figure. But I'll tell you one thing, and this pissed me off. This is not a spoiler in any way, shape, or form. It's just factually, they got this wrong. Okay? Ninjas are Japanese, right? Splinter teaching the turtles be ninjas, that's Japanese, not Chinese. But in this movie, Splinter taught them to be ninjas with kung fu, which is Chinese, right? And I know that's maybe a nitpick or whatnot, and I was just like, yeah, no, that's a complete and utter like fuck up on their part, okay? And he didn't teach them, like he didn't know the martial arts of the Japanese art, right? Of I think jujitsu, if I'm not correct, or if I'm correct, right? And he taught them by watching kung fu on TV to become ninjas, and I was just like, interesting. So small little thing, but big for me. I didn't like the way they did that, but the movie itself, animation kind of grew on me. The story was fun. My son liked it. I liked the turtles. I did. I liked the turtles, how they were actual teenagers. The way they talked in the modern day and stuff like that. I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good. Let's see what else. What hospital was that? I got screwed. Why is no one talking about the Steam Deck? People talk about the Steam Deck all the time. People are talking about the Baldur's Gate 3 literally playing on the Steam Deck. They say that's the system to play it on. Seth Rogen doesn't know the difference between Japanese and Chinese? Yeah, probably. You think Jackie Chan would have said something? Here's the thing: when you are, they probably did that after the fact, right? The voice acting comes in after the animation's done, because in the when they're reading the things, they're reading and seeing the animation on the screen. I was a little ticked off the way I love Jackie Chan, and I just don't like what they did with Splinter's character. They nitpicked some stuff from the origin story of Turtles, but they completely screwed up Splinter's origin story. But the movie's good. So if you guys want to go take out your kids and go see the movie, it's actually good. A couple things, but no, I don't want to say no woke. It's a fun time. It's a fun time. It's a fun movie. If you have kids, go see it. I do recommend it. It's a fun movie. J.K. Simmons, good in everything he's in. He's a good actor. Yeah, he's a good actor. I don't like Seth Rogen myself. how did I put this? I find him annoying and stuff, but I do like him in certain roles in films, like comedies and stuff. He's fun, but other than I don't like him. I hate his laugh. His laugh is the worst. All right, let's go. What time is it? We got 11:30. Travis says, "I certainly not as bad as I heard it would be. I hear they made Donatello. No, Donatello is not a trans. That is false on the internet. He is not trans. He is not trans. He is a 15-year-old kid, and he's a geek, a nerd, which he's supposed to be. That he likes technology and he likes anime. All the turtles, in my opinion, Travis, are fine in the film. It's a very entertaining part of the film. There's a couple of cool montage shots of them fighting and whatnot. Yeah, the teenagers are teenagers. They act like teenagers. Even the April O'Neil that was getting crap on about, race swapping her to a black girl and then she's like chubby or whatnot. The character was good. I also don't like what they did to her character, but the person acting for her and the character in the show was fine, or in the movie was fine. You almost forget like the animation style. You almost forget that April they race swapped her. Okay, like when you look at the animation style, you kind of like you see it in the beginning. You're like, oh, this is kind of weird. But as the movie plays on, you're like, actually, you forget about it. You have like this glaze that happens, and you like it. There's some moments that happen. You're like, it's hard to see certain things because drawings are meant to be like defined lines, and this is like a scribble art style, and the scribble art style is hard to kind of see certain things. It's almost the same effect that happens when you're watching the Transformers movie with Michael Bay. Like the Transformers are so like everything looks the same. They just like kind of transform. But your brain just kind of goes, "Oh, it's a Transformer" type of thing. Monster says, "Is the new Super Mario movie fun? I almost put it in my ASDA shopping online basket the other day. It's a fantastic film. If you like Mario, it's Mario from the video games put onto the big screen. So many hidden gems. I thought it was fantastic. It's a fun time. It's a fun Mario movie. They explain why he doesn't sound like Mario from the Mario games. I thought that was justified and whatnot. It's a good movie. After Santa Inc. and He-Man, well, he didn't do He-Man, Farmer. Seth Rogen didn't do He-Man. That's Kevin Smith that did He-Man. I mean, I can understand because of Santa Inc. and He-Man, but those are two separate things, and he didn't have anything to do with He-Man. I'm wondering, Krause says, I'm wondering if they haven't made an animated movie or show that is closer to the comics for Teenage Mutant Turtles. I don't know why they keep changing the origin stories for some reasons. I don't know why. I would love a 4-player co-op game of Teenage Mutant Turtles, not the side scroller. That's a great game. I would love, God, think about this. I just thought about this. Like right now. I always talk about Division 2 being like a Ghostbusters game. Take that same exact game and turn your Division agent into a fucking Ninja Turtle, and you have all of Manhattan to run around and like save stuff. Holy shit, that'd be a fantastic game. Someone needs to get on that, right? Open world game, 4-player co-op, Teenage Mutant Turtle style, going around saving. Like, why isn't that happening? What is happening? How are we missing the opportunity of this? What does your son think of April? considering he doesn't know about the race swap. Actually, he does, Titan. He actually does know because I've shown him the other shows. He liked the movie. He liked the movie. He didn't like he was confused on Splinter's character, like I was. But I grew up with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? He was confused about the Splinter character. He's like, how come he didn't teach them, the kung fu or the martial arts like he did before? I was like, they changed the story, and he didn't understand. He's like, so did he lie to them? And I'm like, no, he didn't lie to them. That's the writer writing to them what it is, not Splinter doing that. He did the reboot of He-Man. Seth Rogen wrote the reboot of He-Man. Hold on a second. I think. Am I confused? Because I don't think he worked on He-Man at all. No. He didn't work on He-Man at all. Was he a writer? No. Seth Rogen had nothing to do with He-Man. No. No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He did not have anything to do with He-Man. That's Kevin Smith that fucked He-Man, not Seth Rogen. What do you think of WrestleQuest? Sounds ridiculous with the wrestling RPG game. Super Dave, I was actually, I got notified that I could get a code for it. I don't know if I wanted to play it. I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's voiced over or anything like that. I don't want to read them RPG, if that makes sense. I saw it. I don't know if there's audio dialogue that reads the stuff. Sorry, I meant Scooby-Doo. Did Seth Rogen have something to do with Scooby-Doo? You're talking about Velma. Okay. Hold on a second. I don't think he had anything to do with that either. I could be wrong. Let's see. Seth Rogen. Invincible, executive producer, right? So if you guys like that, he did executive producer for that. He produced I don't see Velma. Right? Let's go down a little bit more. No Velma. Okay. Let's go to acting. Was he in Velma? No Velma. Okay. Let's go to writing. No Velma. You guys are hating. You guys are hating on a guy that didn't even do some of the things you hate. Now, like I said, I'm not a fan of Seth Rogen, but I do like a lot of the stuff he's worked on. There was supposed to be a new He-Man movie, but it got canceled. Okay. Was he a writer? Was he a producer? Was he an actor? Let's see. Untitled 90s project. I mean, I don't see it. I don't see it. I'm hearing the Seth Rogen laugh now. Now that I can agree with, Farah. There's so much stuff that you're going to get mixed up. Yeah. But you guys are hating on people You're like, I hate Seth Rogen because he made Lord of the Rings. Like, what? No, he had nothing to do with Lord of the Rings. What are you talking about? Or not Lord of the Rings, but what was the one that came out on Amazon? Rings of Power. Like, I fucking hate Seth Rogen. He made Rings of Power. Like, he had nothing to do with Rings of Power. That was shitty all by itself. Yes, Mindy. Mindy was the Velma person. You know what else about Division? But X-Men. I can see that with X-Men. I can see that with X-Men, Travis. Upscale Gentleman said, Seth Rogen made 9/11. Did he make 9/11? You're talking about the actual disaster? Or was there an actual movie called 9/11? I'm looking. I bet you there's some movies here that you guys like that you don't realize that he's a part of. I'll guarantee it. Now I need to know, because you guys think he's part of... Let's see. Was Seth Rogen... let's see. Was Seth Rogen making a He-Man show? Turned into a hit. Like, Seth Rogen... Like, he's doing The Boys. I know a lot of you guys like The Boys. I haven't watched after season 1, but he's not linked to anything He-Man. Yeah, he's not linked to anything He-Man. Ahsoka's in a few weeks. I am gonna watch it. It's the one thing I am gonna watch. I haven't watched a lot of the Star Wars stuff in the last year, but I am gonna watch. Ahsoka. I didn't watch Andor. I'm interested in Ahsoka, but once I see they're gonna ruin something, I think I'm done with it. And this is my last hope for Star Wars. Kylo. Seth Rogen is the exclusive producer of Game Pass as well. Oh, God. Is Arnold still doing the Conan sequel? I don't think he is. I don't think he is. And I don't think he should, to be honest with you. Like, just be done with it. I gotta finish The Boys. I heard season 2. Was it season 2 or season 3? I heard one of them was bad. Is season 3 just come out? Magic Dolphin says Ahsoka looks sick. I hope so, Dolphin. I hope so. I'm not worried about Rosario Dawson being Ahsoka, right? I think I like her. She's already been Ahsoka. I'm worried about what the story is. I don't know if you watched Rebels, Dolphin, but I hope they don't. My biggest fear for Ahsoka is they're going to use the veil, and they're going to use the veil to change the history of Star Wars. And I hope they don't do that, because then I will be right years in advance, and then I'll be sad, because then I know it's true. Yeah, I watched Ninja Turtles. I liked it. I just didn't like what they did with the origin story of Splinter. But every Teenage Mutant Turtle movie, they always change the story in some way, shape, or form. I hated the Megan Fox origin story of the turtles were her pets. That completely, I was like, what the are you doing? Farmer says, after Obi-Wan, how could you possibly have any host for Star Wars? The only reason I have, Farmer, is because Ahsoka is the catalyst of the veil, because they brought it up in Rebels. And instead of making Rebels continue the cartoon, they're making it a live action and taking that story with all those characters. I liked Rebels. I'm gonna give them, this is the last shot for Ahsoka, right? They can make it good, or they can completely and utterly screw it up. I'm going to give them a fair shot because I like the characters, I like the show, and I want to see what they do with the live action version of it. But after this, that's it. This is a make or break for me for Star Wars. To have any hope. To have any hope going into the future. I know. I know, Travis. Well, no, the bookends, right? Dolphin, in my opinion, the origin story and the way it ends, I don't like. The middle part, which is not Act 1 and Act 3, it's small chunks of Act 1, the beginning, and small chunks of Act 3 at the end. Because the way it ends kind of ruins the whole thing of the Turtles, in my opinion. And the way it begins kind of ruins Splinter's character and whatnot. But the majority of Act 1, all of Act 2, and majority of Act 3 were very entertaining. I liked the art style, grew on me. I thought the story was okay. I liked the Turtles. I thought the acting for the characters was good. So I liked the movie a lot. It was good. Not my favorite Turtle movie, though. I like the little shout outs they did as well inside the movie. There was like little Easter eggs here and there. If they don't pull that shit with Star Wars, I'll buy an Xbox. That's how certain I am they're gonna change everything. I think they're gonna reboot it. I do. I think what they're gonna do with Star Wars is basically what they did with Marvel. Marvel, they had to get rid of all the old so they can move forward with the new, and then because of the multiverses, they can absolutely change everything around. And I think they're going to do the exact same thing with Star Wars. Farmer says, I like Clone Wars, so what? Abandon all hope. He's like, get out of here. Yeah, don't open that door. Now I gotta watch Ahsoka. I can watch 1 episode, 2 episodes, and be like, I'm done. The art style, like I said, Travis, you kind of get over it real fast. Some of the people's eyes are like it looks like sloth in certain scenes for like the pedestrians and other characters. But that's just the art style. It's kind of weird. If Star Wars gets a multiverse, I'm done. Kylo, it is getting a multiverse. It's already here. It's already here. The Veil is the multiverse. I was done with Secret Invasion. Super Dave, I didn't watch any of it. I watched people that watched it talk about it and then tell me stuff. You know something's wrong when certain people like love the Marvel shows so much and they're like, what happened? The Veil is basically reset button. Yes. Yes. I never heard of this Veil. Did you watch Rebels? Dolphin, did you watch Rebels? The 2014 animated series? Not yet. Okay. So I don't know. Did you watch all the Clone Wars? How many seasons? There's I think 4 seasons. I think 4 seasons of Rebels. Four seasons, yeah. 4 seasons. 15 episodes in season 1, 22 episodes in season 2, 22 episodes in season 3, and 16 episodes in season 4. We could, Travis. How many characters do they have to... Hold on, wait, I missed it. How many characters do they got to vandalize before Nope? here's the only reason I'm watching, Farmer. Dead serious. I said this years ago before Obi-Wan came out. Okay, because if you watch Rebels, I think they're about 20 minutes an episode, like 22 minutes, something like that. Magic. 2 years ago, might be 2.5, 3 years ago, I said, this is before we knew Ahsoka was coming to Mando, right? I said they're going to introduce Ahsoka, and then we found out Ahsoka's coming. I said, because now they introduced Ahsoka, they're going to make the Rebels show, right? They're going to make a Rebels show in live action. They're going to make an Ahsoka show. I said, if they make an Ahsoka show, I said, this is back when, I want to say Last Jedi, just after Last Jedi, I said that they could make the Veil, and if they bring the Veil into this, then they could reset Star Wars. And let's be honest, that's what companies want to do, right? Like, Warner Brothers is rebooting Harry Potter. Why would they not reboot Star Wars? Right? They tried to reboot Star Wars with 7, 8, and 9 by making a new character and whatnot, but that's not good enough. They want to reboot it. And I think the only reason that I want to watch Ahsoka is to see if I'm not correct. I'll be honest, that's it. I think Ahsoka is one of the best written characters in Star Wars.
Thanks for becoming a member.
Anakin and what's it called? Quintar, thank you very much for the 5 gifted memberships. Appreciate that very much. Thank you for the continuous support. Thank you so much.
Thanks for becoming a member.
So I just kind of want to make sure that I'm not right. That's it. If I'm right, I'll say I'm right, and I'm done. And I'm literally done with Star Wars.
Thanks for becoming a member.
No, you told me to watch those the other night. I haven't yet. Okay. George Lucas says Star Wars, Disney's need to hand it back to George. That's not going to happen, Monster. That's not going to happen. I wish it did. It's not going to happen. Sarge says, a reset button for what? All the stories told up to the sequel trilogy had their own complete finished stories. What test button do they need? So here's my theory, Sarge. My theory, and I said this years ago, that they would reboot it. But they would reboot it in a way, and here's where I think I'm getting closer now, because I said they'll reboot it with Leia. Well, during Obi-Wan met Leia, which he wasn't supposed to do. And now I think they could reset the Star Wars universe, and instead of having Luke as the lead, they could have Leia as the lead. And Luke would be an Organa, where Leia would be the Skywalker, right? And I think some of the stuff that I think is going to happen, I think that Ahsoka is going to change history with the Veil in the Ahsoka show. I think at some point, it could be season 1. Maybe it'll be season 2. Right? But we won't know for years because that's not happening because of the strikes and stuff. But in Ahsoka, she could go through the Veil and she could take the place of the person that was supposed to be there. So think about episode 3. Instead of Anakin fighting Obi-Wan, it's Ahsoka fighting Anakin. And Ahsoka makes Darth Vader instead of Obi-Wan. Right? Like little things like that could happen. No longer Harry Potter. Harrietta Potter. Just want to prove to continue my spotless 50-0 record. Upscale Gentleman says, was Dune as big as they thought it would be? Was Dune as big as they thought it would be? Dune, the movie that came out, I think it was as big as they thought it would be. It made profit for them. They're making episode or part 2 of it. That's coming out in November. I think it's going to be a big thing. I didn't really like the remake of Dune. I want to go back and watch it. I never did again. We watched it. We had a watch party for Dune 1, and a lot of us that watched that night were like, I didn't really like it. But I'm going to watch it again right before the next one comes out and see if I kind of have a different opinion on it. Oh, you're okay, Quintar. Don't apologize for gifting memberships on my stream. Oh, is that why everyone hates Obi-Wan? Well, they hate Obi-Wan show because, one, he wasn't supposed to see Princess Leia, and two, he wasn't supposed to see Anakin because it literally contradicts everything that was happening in Episode 4. I have a tuna pasta baked in the oven. Sounds tasty. Yeah, I didn't really. I mean, I understand the story of Dune, but I visually, I thought it was amazing, but a little slow for me. A little slow. Did we go over all our stories? I think I missed one story. Yeah, let me do the last story. Then we'll talk for like 20 minutes after. All right, so Baldur's Gate 3 is already one of the most popular games in Steam history. Baldur's Gate 3 from Larian Studios is already a massive success and one of the most popular games in Steam history. So Baldur's Gate 3 is already a massive success. Baldur's Gate, in the months leading up to the release, is now the big day of finally here. PC gamers are free to jump in to Larian's latest and finally see the gigantic game has offered beyond constant and available on early access state. Now, Baldur's Gate 3 has been available in early access since October of 2020, giving players a taste of what it could expect from the final product of Baldur's Gate 3. It was reasonably popular in early access, but its a full release has seen an ambitious RPG absolutely explode in popularity. Is this really a surprise? Like, we had the conversation with what's the company that owns them? Coast, Wizards of the Coast, right? Hasbro, Wizards of the Coast. And how the D&D population, there's like 55 million people that love playing D&D board games, right? It's a huge, huge audience for it. So are we surprised that this is doing well? I'm not, as far as that, right? People like to play D&D, and this is another way for them to play D&D without setting up the board and doing stuff. So at the time of writing this, Baldur's Gate 3 concurrent player count recorded on Steam is a whopping 403,000. Let's go look at those numbers real fast. I think they broke. I believe they broke. Baldur's Gate 3. All right, I think they broke 800,000 the other day. Yeah. So on writing the article, it was 400,000, and now it's 814,000. So the article was written on 4 days ago. So within 4 days, it doubled. 4 days, it doubled. Yeah, so climbing the number, and it gets bigger in each refresh of the page. Now, is one of the imagined that will also grow even more once people get off work and get the game downloaded. Baldur's Gate 3 is so popular on the platform, in fact, that the Steam seems to be having problems for some users who are trying to download the game. Right now, it's the 18th place for the all-time concurrent players on Steam. Now, something to take into account. Baldur's Gate 3 is a gigantic file size, with the game clocking in about 122 gigs. Since the preload wasn't possible, it's likely that many other potential Baldur's Gate 3 players haven't been even enabled to play or jump into the game for themselves yet. Considering this, it'll also be interesting to see how much higher the game's concurrent player base can climb. It seems unlikely that a game will be out like CSGO or PUBG, but who could still get a lot bigger. Now, Baldur's Gate 3 Steam concurrent player count indication of the game is already a huge hit for Larian Studios, especially when they considered that the game is available on more storefronts than just Steam. Now, the GOG version also available for purchase. Not only that, but the game will also be available to even a wider audience just a month times, and Baldur's Gate 3 will hit the PlayStation 5 on September 6th, giving console players a chance to see what the fuss is about. Unfortunately, the Xbox version of Baldur's Gate 3 is currently without the release date, so there's no telling exactly the fans of the platform they'll also get to play the game. However, anyone with a powerful enough rig can play right now, and a PlayStation can mark on September 6th on their calendars. So I've been playing this game. You guys can see my uploads if you are a member, which Quintar just gifted. So 5 other of you are now a member. You can go to our YouTube channel. Make sure you connect it, right? Make sure you connect your Discord or whatnot to our Discord server. But right now on YouTube, if you are a member of the channel, you can go watch episode 3. So I played 2 hours, 2.5 hours this weekend. So episode 1 of Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough is up. Episode 3 is up as well if you are a member. If you're not a member, that'll go live for you tomorrow for Baldur's Gate episode 3. I'm having a blast with it, taking my sweet time with it. I still don't understand the combat system and whatnot. I'm learning as I go. I'm taking my sweet time. I'm going to make errors along the way. I'm not playing this live, and the reason I'm not playing it live on stream for anybody is because people love to backseat game. Do this, do that. And I'm already, by the time you watch an episode, I've already played and it's been days old, right? So, like right now, I've already played more. Those haven't been uploaded yet. So, I don't want any backseat gaming when I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3. This is literally going to be my, casual game when I'm playing on the weekends or at night. I put an hour in and I throw it up on the stream so you guys can watch it. That's why you don't live stream your gaming. Yeah, a game like this, especially, Super Dave, especially people are going to be like, oh, you're doing it wrong. You're doing this wrong. There's no such thing as doing it wrong, right? I'm learning the game. Right, I'm learning the game as I go, so you guys will see my errors that I do and the stupidity things I do, but in real time when you watch it. It's not like I'm know what I'm doing and then do it. I'm not watching anyone else's content. I'm not doing guides to help me. I'm literally playing the game as anyone should, okay, and enjoying it for what it is. And I'm really enjoying the 4.5 hours I've played so far with the game. Once in a while, I do on Switch or Twitch. Why does Sarge want a physical copy? You still don't own anything. I think it's the physical copy of as far as he just wants to own it, right? I think it's more of a collector's thing. It's nothing that you like. I own the disc, but the disc is literally just a key to get the game. You know what I mean? I might purchase Baldur Gate 3 again on Xbox when it comes out. Truly. I'm enjoying it. And it's funny because the one thing I read, people were like, do me a favor, if you're playing Baldur's Gate 3, don't make a human character. There's like elves and orcs and I make fun of it on my second episode. I'm like, I made a human character because you guys know me. Anytime we make a character, we make Jack Burton. Jack Burton is the character. So I'm trying to play Jack Burton as what Jack Burton would do, right? Jack Burton, the way he talks, sort of like cocky son of a bitch, smart ass type of a thing. He's kind of like me. So that's the way I'm trying to play him as. Yeah, there's no downside, Super Dave, for waiting. Someone said that? Yeah, they said don't play as a human character. Yeah. It's an article I read. Or not an article, a tweet. So it won't come to Xbox. It will cause the system to explode. No, Travis. The reason they already said that the Xbox version of it can release, but it can't because they're having problems with the Series S for the split screen. The reason that it's not releasing on the X first is because they want to release stuff at the exact same time for their player base, right? And on top of that, I read another article recently, I think it was like on Friday, that Microsoft is actually sending people to help them get it done. Like they're sending reinforcements in to help so they can get it faster on the Xbox, because you got to strike when the iron's hot, man. And like if they can't get it until early 2024, you're already 4 months, 5 months behind on PC and PlayStation. Hmm. 30 frames per second on console. I don't think a game like that is a big difference though. It's a top down isometric. You know what I mean? It's not an action packed like action RPG. Microsoft sent people. That's funny. they're looking at the Steam numbers, crying. Probably, yeah. Let me see if I found the article again. I don't know if I put it in the submitted stories. Let me see if I can. I'm pretty sure owners can effectively that. Yeah, right here. Microsoft engineers helping get Baldur's Gate 3 split screen working on Xbox Series S. Quote, I wish I could tell you we can do magic and miracles. So Baldur's Gate 3 is one of the most anticipated role-playing games of 2023. This article was on June 29th. So there you go. It's before it even launched, right? Before it even launched, like 7 days ago. But why is there no release date for Xbox Series X and S? At first glance, you might have thought that Sony's Jim Ryan had a bundle developer, Lorien, at the basket full of cash to secure Baldur's Gate 3 console exclusive, but this is not the case. There's no exclusive deal going on here, which begs the question, what's up with Baldur's Gate 3 on Xbox Series consoles? The truth was that Lorien's ongoing struggle to get Baldur's Gate 3's two-player split-screen co-op running well enough on the Xbox Series S. And Microsoft's policy, let me read this slow for some of you, right? Microsoft's policy that enforces the gameplay feature party across the Xbox Series X and S. So, this means that Lorien cannot release Baldur's Gate 3 on an Xbox Series console until its optimized split-screen co-op on the S to point it hits quality bar it needs to satisfy players. This is not about frame rate difference, the resolution difference, or whether or not the S version has the same advanced graphics effects as the X version. This is about the key gameplay feature difference and where Microsoft draws the line. You might have asked, why not just release Baldur's Gate 3 on Xbox Series X, ditching the S altogether? Microsoft does not allow this. You might have to then ask, why not ditch the split-screen co-op on Xbox Series S version? And as mentioned, Microsoft mandates gameplay features party across X and S, so this is not allowed either. And you might have finally asked, why not take the drastic decision to cut split-screen and co-op entirely out from the Xbox Series version of the game? And Baldur's Gate 3 is considered by many to be a prominently single-player game after all. And let's not forget Microsoft's own studio, 343, scrapped split screen from the ill-fated Halo Infinite last year. Not only is Microsoft keen that multi-platform games launch on Xbox with the same gameplay features as those seen on PlayStation, but Lorien would also face a potential backlash from Xbox players, partially because Xbox Series X players and Baldur's Gate 3 launched without split screen when the console is perfectly capable of supporting it, and the PlayStation 5 version has it. So Lorien is a tricky spot. He wanted to release Baldur's Gate 3 on the Xbox Series X and S at the same time as the PlayStation 5, but because the pesky split screen co-op issue on the S, it can't. So there you go. So to dig into the detail, IGN discussed the situation with Lorien Boss. Understandably, it was also pains to avoid criticizing Microsoft and declined to comment when asked if he had requested policy exemption. IGN understands that the stage of the Xbox Series life cycle, Microsoft is sticking to its guns despite growing calls from the development community of the Xbox to ditch the S launch requirements. Rather, pointed out Vinchinski pointed out the complexity of Baldur's Gate 3 itself. The freedom is to offer players a split screen as the root cause of its trouble. It says, quote, you're very free in what you can do, more free than the people expected. Also, that means that you can also run into a really big city that's much more dense than other people expected. You can also do kinds of craziness, so it requires a lot of optimization. On certain platforms, there's also faster than other platforms. It just takes us time, that reality of development. So it's not that we planned this. Our plan was that we wanted to have the simultaneous release, but we've also been on this game for a long time. It's a real big game. The amount of things that we can do is insane, and I think people will be surprised when they see everything. There's constraints that we have to overcome, so we work on them. Okay. Vichensky also said Lorien also has to make some compromises, and we get the Xbox version out, but declined to say what they are. We're trying to be very limited in the compromise that we have to make, he said, and that's one of the reasons why we're taking more time also. But don't want to jump ahead of the development team, which is doing remarkable things, and we don't want to say it's going to be like this until we finish to decide it's a good for release. He also points out an additional issues of nature of Baldur's Gate 3 development. Lorien engineers found optimization work on the S versions difficult because of the concept kept being added over the years. Now the scope of the game increased. He says, quote, there was very hard to them to do this when the game wasn't finished yet. because of all the content kept on coming. Now, there's also everything so they can see what they're up against. So while this is frustrating for Lurian, they also bad look for Microsoft. Its customers are missing out on one of the most promising role-playing games in years for who knows how long, because the players deemed arbitrary release policy. So it comes with no surprise to learn that engineers from Xbox Advanced Technology have been drafted to help Lurian get the S version of Baldur's Gate 3 upscreen. Now, while Microsoft did not respond to IGN's request to comment in the publication, confirmed the support, which certainly had the support of Microsoft, he said. We support from ATG Group. They're also doing great. We've also been helping a lot. Everybody wants this out on Xbox, and it's not that we don't want it on Xbox. It's just that our problem, and this is Lurian, and this is just the made very big game, and it's a very complicated game. So I don't need to read on and read on, but if you guys want to read that article, I'll put it into the chat right now for you guys if you guys want to continue reading that article. But yeah, so they got some Microsoft engineers to come over to help them try to get this out sooner. Now, here's the funny part, right? We just had a conversation before it started, right? We were excited that Lurian Studios made a game and launched a game, right? We also had the same situation with Hogwarts Legacy, right? With Portkey and Avalanche. They said that we made a game and then they sold the game and then they delayed the other part of the game and then released the game. So you guys can't have your cake and eat it too, right? The studio is trying to do good on all sides. They want their game to succeed on both sides. So yes, is it disappointing that it's not coming out for Xbox until next year? It is. Just like it was disappointing that Hogwarts Legacy was delayed 3 more months on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. Just like it was delayed another 6 months on the Switch when it comes out on the Switch. So there's no difference here. So yeah, you as an Xbox user are a little upset. You can't play the game. So your options are, if you have a PC, download the game. If you have a PlayStation, you can download the game next month, right? If you have a PlayStation, an Xbox, and a PC, well, pick and choose your poison which one you want to play on. If you don't have any of these systems, well, then you're not going to play the game regardless anyway, right? So I feel like, yes, the S is holding back because of the split screen. The policy for Microsoft is that they have to have both launch at the exact same time. That's what they want. It's understandable. I personally would rather them launch the X and then the S comes down later down the line. But at the same time, I understand that's the policy and that's the policy they want to go by. So hopefully when the game does come out, it's not broke, buggy, unfinished in any way, shape, or form, and the split screen works flawlessly when it comes out. But at that point, are people going to pick up the game? And that's the price you have to pay, right? You didn't come out on time, but the people that want the game, that can't get the game because they don't have a PC or don't have a PlayStation, those people are going to wait and get the game when it comes out anyway. It's a wonderful game. I've only played about 4.5, 5 hours of it. I'm enjoying myself. It's a game that you don't want to rush through. It's a game that's going to take hundreds and hundreds of hours to complete. And I really don't see a problem in say that it's coming out later. I do see a problem, though, with Microsoft implementing that these systems have to come out at the exact same time. And I think that might hurt them in the long run, but we'll see. You know, let me see what you guys are saying in chat. So Xbox is stupid. Yep, checks out. ISO is turn-based. Or better yet, just ditch the S, period. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. Here's the difference, Travis. The S is not going anywhere. And here's why. One, because the S has no disk drive. And they don't want to give you a disk drive. Take note, because PlayStation is going to do the exact same thing. They're going to sell you a system with no more disk drives. Because they don't want you going to a GameStop. They don't want you going to a Target. They don't want you going to a Walmart. They don't want you to get it secondhand. They want you to get the system, and you have to depend on them to get the system, right? To get the games on the system. That's it. The Xbox Series X has a disk drive. Unless they come out, and the rumors now that there might be another Xbox Series X with no disk drive coming out, okay? There is no reason to ever sell a console now with an actual disk drive, because they want to sell you the digital codes. They want to sell you on Game Pass. They want to sell you on the PlayStation Plus. They don't want people owning games. They don't want you to have this. Not because they don't want you to have a folder full of video games, because they don't want you to go, hey, who wants this game? Does anybody want this Fallout Vegas right now? I'll send it to you in the mail, right? They don't want that anymore. They want digital codes 100% for everybody. And that's the reason the Series S won't go anywhere. Those are facts. Let's see here. Game Pass is a waste of money. So I don't think it's a waste of money. To say that is ignorant. Okay? Especially coming from a person like you, Travis, because I know you're not buying full price games. I know you're not buying full price games. Right? Let me know how many games that you've played in the past that you paid full price for, and how many games that you didn't pay full price for that you got from a buddy or you got at GameStop, a used game or whatnot. Let me know, because if you're a person that's buying all brand new games and not a used game, not one used game, then you saying that Game Pass is not worth it is asinine. Why would I pay $15 for a game that I've already played? If you didn't play the game a while back, then it's nothing upcoming that's worth talking about. Yeah, but that's what you're missing. There's games on there that people haven't played that are on Game Pass that they don't have to pay $15 for. They don't have to go to GameStop and pay $10 for. They can literally pay one price and it's on the thing. Microsoft really loves the Series S. And there's Starfield coming in September. So, no big problem, I guess. Again, we always talk about it. If the game is subpar, it doesn't matter. There's another game that you'll play on Series S or Game Pass. We'll see. We're a month away. A month away from Starfield. We'll see what happens. If a certain game is coming out on Game Pass, I don't want to buy it yet on my PlayStation 5. I'm going to try it on Game Pass, so it's not a waste in my eyes. Absolutely correct. They need to regulate the Series S to streaming console. That's what it's built for. Oh no, Akuta Papa. Oh no. We know that they have the keystone so smooth. Okay, the little box that they said they couldn't get the price down. That is a streaming console. The Series S is not a streaming console. Right? They're gonna get you. I know what you're saying, right? But that's where it comes into the streaming platform. Getting Game Pass on Game Pass on your Samsung TV. That's the streaming platform. Travis says exactly. This is why I'm making Alan Wake 2 digital only. They can lie and say it's about the money or updates, but nope, it's because they are trying to phase out physical gaming. Absolutely. So to say that Game Pass is not worth it, everyone's trying to get. Well, let's talk real talk. Everyone's trying to save a buck, right? The world's in a shitty place, and people are not making as much money as they did. Not everyone, okay? There's still people making good money, right? But everyday average Joe or Karen, okay, is looking to save a buck, okay? You take pictures of your receipts to save a buck. You join a membership thing for your gas so you save a buck, right? There's sales going on to save a buck. So why would it be any different for people playing video games looking to get a deal, right? Microsoft sees what's happening, hence why they made Game Pass, right? I don't agree with Game Pass. I don't think it's sustainable, but that's what it is, okay? That's what it is. So, of course, people are going to save a buck, right? I literally just bought a game that is 13 years old. I paid $45 for it, okay? Most people will be like, that's insane, but I want to collect it, so that's why I bought the Transformers game, which we are playing again tonight. If you guys want to see the continuation of Transformers War of Cybertron, we're playing the next two acts of Decepticons and then one act of Autobots, and that'll be episode 2 of that tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on 30 NSG. But most people go to GameStop so they don't pay full price games. So why would someone that goes to GameStop and buy used secondhand games be upset about Game Pass? You know what I mean? I'll be honest, I never gotten free games. I've always paid at least $10. But they're not free. They're not free. You're paying $10 submission, right? Like for subscription, right? If I choose to get a game that's $10 at GameStop, right, or it's $20 at GameStop, $10 at GameStop, but it happens to be on Game Pass or PlayStation Plus, I'm still paying money for that. And if I only played that one game for that month, then I bought the game basically, right? To me, it's asinine, right? Are you paying $10 per game on Game Pass? No, but you're paying $10 for the service. So wait, are you like on a moral high ground because I paid $20 for this pre-owned thing, right? $20. So what am I doing now, right? I wanted this game, so I bought it. I bought it twice. I bought it full price, which didn't work anymore because it got delisted. And then I had to go buy it again for $20 because I wanted to play it on my new system, okay? So are you on a better high ground because you paid for that game, or now it comes to Game Pass, right? This game comes to Game Pass. So you paid $20 and someone paid $10. So what? When you go and die and go to heaven or hell, all of a sudden they go, well, let me see the list that you have here. It looks like you're going here because you paid dollars for that. You could go through. Like, get the fuck out of here. People are looking to save money, right? Save money. So if you go buy a game for $10 at GameStop and someone pays $10 on Game Pass, get out of here. People only get mad because it's like a service, but hate who made the service. Guaranteed that if it was a Sony service, all these hate boys would be loving it. But they have a service. PlayStation Plus is that service. Selling only digital and charging $70 in games is a 50% increase in profit per game. So as of right now, companies are receiving 100% profit of a $70 game. Yeah, right. And this is why they want digital. This is why the S is not going anywhere. This is why they will make an X. Man, I fucking talked about this years ago before these systems came out. I said that the S would sell more than the X because it's a diskless drive, and they'll make more of them, push them out into production, so they're out there. And you can't find the X's, and you have to buy the S's. But who cares if, as a consumer, Travis, who gives a shit if I'm paying $10 for a specific game that I don't own or $10 for a service for a game I don't own? Tell me the difference of the $10 that I'm spending. Please elaborate how your $10 is better than my $10 for the exact same game. I don't pay for anything more than the essentials for PlayStation Plus either. I don't do the whole subscription thing. You also didn't pay for online, but now you do. They really screwed the console market with the digital market. They just shut down the store and you lose access to the installed media. Yeah, which we haven't even seen the surface of yet, Quintar, because remember the talk of Warzone's closing down, right? The first Call of Duty Warzone's closing down. So anyone that bought a microtransaction, that's gone, right? That's gone. When Fortnite actually turns over to make Fortnite 2, all the people that spent money on those microtransactions, they're all going to be gone. They're all going to be gone, right? For people, and I'm not saying Travis doesn't buy microtransactions, but there's people out there that are upset that you pay for a service, but yet they're buying microtransactions left and right, and they feel like they're justified. But yet you buy a service to buy a game or play a game, beat the game, and then put the game down, and you're the downfall, right? Fuck, now I'm pissed. I'm one of the people who owns Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2. Still pissed me off. You can't buy it anymore, and it was a dick move. Yet you can't play them. Actually, you know what? Let me test it out, because I have a 360 set up right here, right next to me. I have a 360 because we're playing Transformers War. I have Ultimate Alliance. Let me see if I can put it in and play it. Let's see. Ultimate Alliance. Got the disc. Let's see if we can put it in and play it. Let's see. It's weird they're shutting down Warzone 1 servers down shortly after being all Call of Duty servers back online. Can we play Ultimate Alliance? Woo! I think it's working. I can play it. Hold on, let me get you. Look at this. We might have an Ultimate Alliance night sometime in the next couple weeks. Right? And this is why I hate modern day gaming. I bought a game. I own the game. I can play the game. Oh, yeah. This is fantastic. When's the last time I played? Last time I played. Oh, man. November 19th, 2007. We might have my Xbox sounds like a jet engine taking off. I'm gonna close that down though. At least we know we can play it. See, I'm pissed because you can't play these on the backwards compatibility. You can't play this on the one. You can't play it on the X or S. I was in 7. 15 years. Can you imagine how much better it would have been if D4 was closer to the Ultimate Alliance? I mean, we might play that. We might play that. We're going to finish the Transformers series. This game and Fallen. We're going to play War and then Fall. So we're going to play that. So the next couple weeks will be filled. And then maybe we'll jump into Ultimate Alliance as throwback night. And then we'll play some Starfield when it comes out in a month. I don't even remember anything I've played in 2007. I heard a rumor that Nintendo made them do that. Don't know if it's true. Well, they did it because of the... Oh, you're saying because of Ultimate Alliance 4, or... Was it 4? 3. 4. I forget the Ultimate Alliance. So you're saying Nintendo told them to shut it down so everyone just goes over to them. Possible. I don't know if that's true. Oh, right. Ultimate Alliance 3. That's what it is. I I can see that happening. But they also did it to Transformers games, and there was no other Transformers games coming out. So they delisted, and I think it has to do with licensing. I don't think it has to do with Nintendo. I think it was stupid that Ultimate Alliance 3 was only on Nintendo. I bought a Nintendo for it. That's not a fact, Travis. That's not a fact. We can all joke around and say that the S is a potato, but my son plays it every day, and he knows no better. It's if you're a person that likes gaming, yes, it's a less powerful system, but it can play all the games. It even plays Microsoft Flight Sim. It does crash a couple times, okay, but he can play Flight Sim on that system just like I can play on my X. Right? He can play any game that I'm playing on the X over on the S. And for a certain clientele, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, Nintendo's from birth to 99. Okay? PlayStation is around 10 years old or so, right? And then it's mostly teenagers and up. Okay? And Xbox has got the everybody else market. Okay? They're trying to get the everybody else market. Hence why they're doing mobile, hence why they're doing PC, hence why they're doing. So if you want the high-end experience, right, high-end games, right, for the first-party title stuff or third-party exclusives, you're going to get a PlayStation, okay? Hell, most people bought a PlayStation 3 because of a Blu-ray player, not because of the first-party titles. Let's be honest, okay? Because it was literally a third of the price or half the price of a Blu-ray player back in the day, okay? So more people bought a PlayStation 3 because of the Blu-ray player than they actually did for the actual system, okay? So if you're looking for high-end gaming, better experience, get a PlayStation. Those are facts. But if you're looking for a gaming experience on a budget, right, you're going to get a Xbox because I can get a Xbox Series S and a Game Pass, okay, for $50 less than a PlayStation with no games. Right? A PlayStation alone is $500. I can get an Xbox Series S plus Game Pass for a full year, less than what I'm paying for a PlayStation by itself. Okay, so to look at that market and say, well, no one cares about that stuff is ridiculous. There was a guy on stream on a comment the other day. Okay, he's talking about AAA games, and on Lono's podcast, I said what Microsoft is doing. They didn't buy Activision Blizzard for AAA games. They bought Activision Blizzard to make $70 billion back faster. They're in for the mobile market. This guy said that no one's playing AAA games on a cell phone. And I said, it's not about AAA games. It's about them buying games on mobile phone or playing games on mobile phone. If you look up the mobile phone player base for Call of Duty, it's 52 million players playing Call of Duty on mobile devices. If you look up at Genshin Impact, it's like another 26 million people playing on mobile devices. If you look at Diablo Immortal, it's at like 18 or 21 million people playing Diablo Immortal on mobile devices. He's like, well, that doesn't matter because it's not AAA games. And what people can't get through their head is that Xbox doesn't give a shit about consoles. They care about getting a piece of the pie everywhere. Okay? So for a Call of Duty on mobile devices, which is now going to be owned by Microsoft, has 52 million people playing Call of Duty mobile. Okay? Microtransactions and everything over there. Diablo Immortal has 21 million people playing over there. That's not 21 million people playing over here on Diablo 4. That's 21 million people playing a microtransaction game on a mobile phone. So they're making money from mobile devices. They're making money from Game Pass. They're making money from direct buys. They're making money from microtransactions, from Game Pass, from mobile phones, from all the other games, from live service games. This is what Microsoft is doing. But a lot of people can't get that through their skull. They think it's a straight up console versus console, and that's not the case. It's Sony versus Microsoft, not PlayStation versus Xbox. Okay? And Microsoft is not playing the same game. They say we lost the war of consoles. We need to make more money. That's what the business is for. Yeah, here. COD Mobile. Let's see. Mobile. This is from activeplayer.io. Okay. Activeplayer.io. Call of Duty is one of the highest rated mobile games released in October 2019. The game is developed by Tim Games, actively marketed by Activision. COD mobile game even won the Best Mobile Game Award in Game Awards in 2019. On October 22nd, 2020, a little over a year since the release of Call of Duty, mobile game had over 300 million downloads worldwide, reported Activision, where you learn the game's statistics. However, the number of the downloads is different from the number of active players. The Active.io has an estimated of 70% or 210 million are actively playing Call of Duty Mobile, and only 10% or 30 million players are playing it daily. 30 million players. You know what a game oh, you guys can't see. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. You know what a AAA game on a console would kill for 30 million players are playing it daily. Okay? 30 million. So in the last 30 days, 57.9 million active users are playing Call of Duty Mobile. Okay? From a gamer, you look at that and go, no one just wants us to play a fucking AAA game, right? And then there's facts, right? They don't care about AAA games. They're playing games. People like to play games. It's not about AAA games. Not about independent games, not about mobile games. People want to play games. There's 57.9 million active people playing Call of Duty Mobile. Mobile. Okay? I just think it's going to be a downfall of gaming. You're preaching to the choir, my friend. Right? So when I say 3 billion people, and people are like, oh, well, 30 is a Microsoft exclusive guy, and he's talking like he's an executive and he works for Microsoft. Like, those people don't actually clean their ears out, right? Or maybe they push too far in with a Q-tip, okay? Because they're not listening, right? Microsoft is about making money. And people think when I say 3 billion players, they think like one game's going to have 3 billion players, or Game Pass is going to have 3 billion players. But they're idiots, because if I can get 59 million people or 57 million people to play Call of Duty, and then I have another 21 million playing Diablo Immortal, and then I have another 100, and then another 100 over here, and 50 over here, and 20 over here, and mobile different games and different devices, and on Game Pass, and buying the game, right? People are like, there's no way Microsoft's going to get 3 billion. Like, they're looking for that player count number for that total. Like, it's going to be 3 billion people. Right? They're so like blinded because they're like right up against the tree and they can't tell that there's other trees behind the tree. They're like, nope, this forest is only one tree. All right, Destiny 2 is successful and only has 1 to 2 million daily active users when it's in good state. Right. Okay. Diablo Immortal. Let's look at that. Let's look at Diablo Immortal. Right. This is a mobile game. This is a MMO stats. Right now, estimated daily players for a mobile game. Estimated players, 782,000. Right? 782,000. Now, people look at Baldur's Gate 3, which just broke 800,000. They're like, this game is amazing. It's the best game ever created. It's got so many people playing the game. And then they look at this and go, it's not that big. Not that big. It's only 782,000. You see what I'm saying? In fairness, Diablo Immortal was better than Diablo 4. Regardless. The talk is about how game companies are making money. And it's not about the one plan. It's about how many plans can you have. Right? If I'm a farmer, I'm only selling one crop. Okay, I need a big field for that crop. Okay, but if I sell into little individual things, I'm selling to multiple markets, right? And I'm making money all over the place. Grocery stores don't sell one item. They wouldn't be successful. Okay, they get you to come in, get the stuff on sale, and then try to get you on other things in there. Right. On how much money does Destiny make a month with only 1 to 2 million people? How much do you think Activision makes with 52 million people playing? Yeah, and that's just Call of Duty mobile. That's not Call of Duty, regular Call of Duty Warzone. That's Call of Duty mobile. Diablo mobile. But I can't argue with people that don't understand facts, right? They think I read off numbers because I'm making up numbers in my head. I have like no concept of stuff. Let me read you the one comment the guy made to me. Here, let me read that comment. Let's see. This one? Okay. So this person, based on my conversation with Lono, he says, Mike is wrong. If you combine Xbox plus PC, Sony will still win. Just look at the interest of PC Game Pass subscribers, 15 million plus Xbox Game Pass 10 million, a total of 25 plus subscriptions with 2 billion gamers on PC. You would think that these numbers would be astronomical. As for mobile, no one wants to play AAA games on a cell phone. Right? So I comment and say, why don't you do a search for how many people are playing Call of Duty Mobile, and then tell me nobody wants to play on their cell phones, or how many people are playing Diablo Immortal. Now, see, you're looking at this black and white. You're looking at AAA games, and I'm looking at Microsoft bought Activision Blizzard for $70 billion. You can't see the forest through the trees. I have no side. I'm a gamer. I have owned every system since 1982 to present day, except for the PlayStation 5 because I'm waiting for an update to come out. So you can say that I'm wrong, but actual facts prove that you are wrong, that nobody is playing on mobile. And he says, my point still stands. No one wants to play AAA games on a cell phone. Okay. But my point was that Microsoft is selling other things. It's not just about Game Pass and subscription model. There's other things that they have in motion. Okay. Companies would die to have 50 million people play any game. Total, combined, all their games making 50 million people. Right? I was about to say better add that PlayStation 5 thing. Boss, see, when I talk about stuff, I know facts. And the only reason I don't own a PlayStation 5, which I admitted I don't own a PlayStation 5, right? Doesn't take me anywhere else. I own every single system ever created, okay, in one form or another from 1982 to now, except for I think the Atari Jaguar and the Sega Saturn, which we had friends and I played all of those things. Right? I'm not going to hide anything. Why would I hide? To make my point, I have to tell the truth. I don't lie. I speak facts. And if I don't have the facts, I look up the facts. I don't make up facts. %8 of statistics are made up. Wait, where did I get that from? Yeah, you just made it up. Yeah, you just made it up. Except his point doesn't stand. They clearly don't mind playing it on mobile. And that's my point, Travis. He's saying his caveat is AAA games, right? AAA games. Right? It doesn't matter about AAA games. They're game companies. They want games. As many games to as many people as possible. Because AAA games only suffice for a certain amount of people. Right? Final Fantasy 16. AAA game. 3.3 million. Call of Duty Mobile. 57 million. Do you see what I'm saying? AAA games sell well. But there's other things that also sell well that no one has no idea about. It's crazy how these years later, every time we talk about consoles, why do it in the back of my mind go, man, the Dreamcast really changed the game? Yeah, it was ahead of its time, and they shot themselves in the foot while they were creating it, while they were pushing it out. If Xbox can do it, Sony can. And if they're half of a decade or more behind Microsoft on that move, I was helping a test mobile apps for Microsoft/Xbox 5 years ago that no one knows about. Well, I said the same thing, Akuta Papa, that people talk about 8K televisions. I was literally training for 8K films, okay, in 2007. Right? I was using 8K camera equipment in 2007. We still don't have 8K. We still don't have 8K. Isn't AAA determined by the cost it took to make the game? Yeah, I think AAA game is based off of, I think when we looked it up, Travis, it was like 75 mil for a AAA game. I think it was 75 mil for a AAA game. All right. We are done for today. It was a good conversation, good back and forth. If you guys like this type of conversation, type of show that we do it Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning to about noon Eastern. It's 12:44. I'm a little over my my time. If you like it, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, you become a member. If you are a member, I'm going to try to give more member like perks. So if I do an upload, they just started this new thing on YouTube. So if you're a member and I upload something, you can see it right when I publish it. If you're not a member, it'll post like 2-3 days from then, right? So that's the way I'm going to try to do stuff from now on. So if you are a member of the channel, you'll get to see the uploads that we do. We're going to try to do more uploads. If it's gameplay like Baldur's Gate 3, if it's other things or whatnot, that's what we want to do. We want to try to give as much content to members to give you guys a better benefit. Make sure you hook up your membership to the Discord. You can join us in the Discord for conversations as well. Upscale Gentleman says, when I played COD Mobile, I thought I was putting little bots in the match. Oh, I guarantee you they are, gentlemen. We actually talked about, even when you play matches now, like if you go to Warzone now, there's more bots in the game than there is actual people, right? And that's designed now, where they have little pockets of NPCs that you're going against, and they have other people trying to do extractions. Fortnite's been doing it since 2018. Call of Duty's been doing it. Battlefield does it. All these companies make these games. They got to make it feel like more people are playing the game, right? So if you think of a number, they're like, oh, there's 1 million people playing this game. When you see that in the headlines, you're going to go play that game. You're going to think there's 1 million people who are playing this game. But then when you start playing, you're like, how many people you see? You start seeing the same names in the lobbies. You start seeing that all of a sudden when you kill people, their names or the way they move, they don't look correct. There's a whole bunch of things that they do to try to make the NPCs feel more realistic, right? They're even copying what you do for holograms for cheaters and whatnot in the Call of Duty world. So I wouldn't be surprised if you play that mobile game and there's literally all bots and you feel better about yourself because when you win the match or whatnot, you know? So love having these conversations. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, for more Transformers, War of Cybertron. We'll do acts 4 and 5 and then and 6 tonight, which is 2 Decepticon missions and then 1 Autobot mission tonight, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. Appreciate it very much, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.